Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm up here now. Me and the black cat, the Halloween cat, are up here. Welcome back. It's like you never left. I hope you guys had a smooth transition over from the previous live. We went over a lot of weird stuff over there. Worth catching the replay if you didn't. But tonight we are convening for this audio. Where's my chat? There you guys are. Hey, Zooey. Hey, thanks, Amy C. Hey, Tempest, I know round 2, you took a little cat nap. Well, get your snacks, your drinks, your smokes, whatever it is you're going to need. Are you hydrated? Exactly. I've been so committed to Jay's coverage. I can't believe I caught 2 lives today. Thank you. I'm invested, man. Thank you, Buddha Girl. The Cooter DeVille never even had to leave the driveway. I know. Well, the Clue crew flew over, and then we got in the Cooter DeVille and came here. So thank you guys for being here and joining. I think we should get right into the audio. I will boost it. I'm going to try to get rid of some of the background noise. But what we're going to do first is we're going to do a little trial and error, okay? Ohana, Proud Mimi, RLR. Miss Sophia, welcome back, guys. We're going to do a little test because I want to make sure that we can hear it good. Julie A., thank you for gifting 5. So what I'm going to do is just skip to the middle, press play, and then I'm going to screw around with the audio. I'm going to be listening through my headphones, but this is not the presentation. You're going to have to wait a second because I want to get this right. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I really, really appreciate that. Welcome, you Cooters.
Y'all welcome to Cooterville. Come on in, and remember, close your legs.
Okay, so we're going to open up filters. You're going to be doing a little tech work with me. You love this channel. We love you. Okay, so what we're going to do is noise suppression add. Okay, let me see here.
Positive or negative?
I guess I don't really. Can you ask me that one more time? I'm trying to understand.
Sure. I'm just asking if the nature of your conversations you've had with the respondent about my client after you were after your employment ended, were they positive about my client?
I'll object. It lacks foundation, vague.
Let's skip around.
We have 2 here today.
Okay. Mr. Dale, do you want to respond?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I don't think it's fair to put that on us. I mean, the hearing was set for 11 a.m. I'm sorry, but then there was no...
Sounds great to me. All right. Sounds good to me. Thank you, Classy and Sassy. Well, I can tell you it's a lot better than what you're going to hear on other channels. I'll give you a little example of what you'll hear. If it's too loud, turn your volume down. You know what I mean? Here's what the audio sounded like earlier. Listen.
Did they depict Lauren by photograph with her face showing?
No.
Have you ever threatened Miss Matthias or...
I think it sounds better than that. That's the original. So let's start at the beginning. This is the court hearing. I don't have a date on it, but this is the court hearing where they decided it's too choppy. Toppy? What does toppy mean? I am an audio snob. I like it to be as good as it can be. So what we're listening to, this is from the RO hearing. Hashtag best audio. And this is where they scheduled the October 16th where Law and Crime came and the whole debacle. Okay. This is the one prior to that. We have Lauren present with her lawyer. And then we have Christina present with her lawyer. And then we have two witnesses, which are Janeese and God, who's the other witness? Oh, Daston, that's her lawyer. So Daston and Christina had the two lawyers, Lindsay and Janeese, and they actually give testimony. The witnesses were for Christina. So what happened was Lauren continued it. They denied the continuance because she had the two witnesses there, is what I understand. But we'll listen. They're gonna the lawyers will argue it out. So let's begin.
04055. Can I get counsel to state their appearance for the record?
Dastan Dio for the petitioner.
And James Dunkelberger, the law firm of Bennett, Tueller, Johnson, and Deere for the respondent. And respondent is seated with me at counsel table.
Thank you. We state your name again.
James Dunkelberger.
Dunkelberger?
Yes, sir.
So Christina's lawyer is Dunkelberger, and the other one was Lauren's attorney. Okay, so Dunkelberger is with Christina. You can't make it up.
Okay, counsel, before we get going, do you want to proceed by proffer, and I'll ask put your clients and witnesses under oath and see if they'll affirm it, or do you want to call up witnesses, cross-examine, direct examine?
I think witnesses, we would prefer calling witnesses, not proffer.
Okay. We are set for an hour hearing, so use that as you see fit. I notice I did have a motion to allow some witnesses to appear remotely.
Yes, Your Honor, that's our motion.
Are they out of state?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Petitioner also had a motion to allow one of our disabled witnesses to appear remotely. The court granted that motion, I think, this morning and provided the link. But we did have a request outstanding for other witnesses to appear if necessary.
So you guys would stipulate to the witnesses appearing remotely?
I have no objection to that.
Me neither, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, if we could just revisit the schedule today, though. There are several declarations filed on each side. Several witnesses probably intend to appear today. 1 hour is an awful short amount of time to get this all done. And if we are going to try to do it in an hour with live testimony, could we have some sort of a guidance from the court on how we split that up, or, you know, how our time's to be spent today?
Yeah, you guys choose how. I mean, I'll make it even, that it's 50% to each of you as to how you want to go about it. I noticed that there was several declarations filed in regards to this. Have the parties had any communication?
No, Your Honor.
A little
The
bit of
parties
procedure,
themselves.
yeah.
Okay. Forgive me, maybe I misunderstood. You mean counsels?
Yeah.
Counsel for party?
Yeah.
Minimal
on procedural matters last week.
How come there's been no effort to resolve this? Is there a reason why?
Well, from my perspective, it's not that we're against that or opposed to that. It's just the timing of it has been so short between when the injunction was filed and when he appeared, and so there's been a lot of evidence and other briefings to submit and worry about. So we haven't, I would just say it's only because we haven't had a fair chance to do it.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Unless you guys think that some discussion, I can give you a little bit of time if you want to go out and discuss. I think that would be fruitful. Otherwise, we'll just get going.
I'm happy to go out with this, Dan, and try to have a quick discussion.
Okay, why don't you guys do that and then come back in and let me know.
Okay, thanks, sir. 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yeah, 5. I mean, you can tell if we're making progress as soon as you can see that we're going one direction or the other. Let me know.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You may have a seat. Okay, counsel, what were we able to work out?
Unfortunately, Your Honor, we're not going to be able to come to a stipulation today.
Okay. Let's go ahead and, are you ready to proceed then?
We had one.
So they went and tried to work things out. They could not come to an agreement. Yes, Christina is here with her lawyer and 2 witnesses that flew in.
Matter of housekeeping, Your Honor, from the petitioner, if that's all right, if I may.
Go ahead.
So, given the nature of the claims and the emotional distress it's caused to my client, and considering the audience we have here, my client is requesting that only the necessary parties, those from the respondent's side who will be testifying, be allowed to be in the courtroom to provide her some sort of safety and comfort during these proceedings, to the extent we can.
Okay. Mr. Dunkelberger?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd object to that. This is a petition that's been brought by petitioner. She's going to be here in the courtroom, and as respondent, Ms. is entitled to have people here with her. And
Yeah, it's an open courtroom. There's no motion filed to close it. So,
Lauren wanted everyone out of the courtroom for her. And the judge is like, no, this is a public courtroom. Lawyer Lori was not lying. Thank you, Elizabeth Ramos, for your generous super sticker. I appreciate that.
as respondent, Ms. is entitled to have people here with her. And
yeah, it's an open courtroom. There's no motion filed to close it. So, I expect the parties to be here in person when we have a case. So that motion is denied.
Okay.
Now, as to the reality of where we are, how much time does counsel think that
Listen to this.
realistically you're going to need in this case?
Well, we need at least 2 witnesses, 3 including the petitioner's husband. I'll try to get through them as quickly as I can, but there are
How
some
much time are
lines.
you anticipating?
Well, Your Honor, I had anticipated having the whole day, honestly. So, or at least half.
I had anticipated having the whole day. Is it clearer, tattoos? Thank you. I hope it's not distorted. One crime. This is before the lawn crime.
I'll try to get through them as quickly as I can, but there are
How
some
much time are you
lines.
anticipating?
Well, Your Honor, I had anticipated having the whole day, honestly. So, or at least half the day.
What did the notice go out?
This was continued, if I remember correctly, so scheduled for last Friday or
Yeah,
That's correct. And then it was rescheduled to Monday the 20th, from the
So-
17th to the 22nd.
So I'm not sure why when we schedule it at 4, why you'd anticipate you would have a half day or a whole day.
You're right. That
What an idiot. These people. Robert, thanks for the sub. The judge says, I don't know why when we scheduled this at 4 that you would think you had half day or a whole day. 4 o'clock? One crime was a video me.
from the 17th to the 22nd.
So I'm not sure why when we schedule it at 4, why you'd anticipate you would have a half day or a whole day.
You're right. That I might have misread that or read too much into it, but it was rescheduled for 11 a.m.
Misread it? You're here, dude.
So,
So how much time are you anticipating? That's
hours.
oh, How many hours?
At least 3.
On your case in chief?
Yeah.
Mr. Dunkelberger?
So we were prepared today because of the short time frame to proceed primarily by proffer. We understood that that's what was going to happen today, given the short amount of time. Brief opening statement, proffer the witnesses, some cross-examination in a hurry, and then be out. We are prepared to accordion to the court's convenience on this. Certainly, if the other side's entitled to 3 hours, we'd ask for parity, but we think that you could do it in substantially less time. It just depends on how they want to do it.
It's not her brother, no.
I have a suggestion, Your Honor. Pending before the court is our ex parte motion to enforce the temporary civil stalking injunction. Perhaps if we proceeded to resolve that motion, that may resolve the entire matter. If, in other words, I guess what I'm saying is perhaps we can achieve what we need to by simply ruling on that motion. And then at that point, if it's granted, then that resolves the issue. And if it's not, then we can, I guess, readdress and plan at that point.
Mr. Dunkelberger?
That's the tail wagging the dog, Your Honor. I mean, we have 28 days, from the notice. As far as I'm aware, I don't think the court has issued a hearing. I know there was a request to expedite it. I didn't really see grounds to expedite it. There's some pretty serious allegations, and frankly, we were expecting it would go the other way around. If today the temporary order is not extended and made permanent, then that's going to make the court's resolution of that issue a lot easier.
Well, it'd also make it moot, because if let's say I ruled in favor of your client, Mr. Dale, on the motion to enforce, and then later I ruled that there shouldn't have been a stalking injunction, well, I guess I can go, because there is an ex parte one in place. Okay, have a seat. Let me think through something. Thank you for your arguments.
The judge sounds annoyed. We're getting to the more important parts. We're getting to the more important parts, Belinda. I will. As best I can.
Your Honor, may I respond to one thing he said?
Sure.
Thank you. The standard in that is applicable to the ex parte motion and the enforcement of the temporary civil stalking injunction is completely separate and irrelevant to the issuance of a permanent stalking injunction. The temporary one was issued, and it was effective, and there were violations of it. Whether or not the court decides to continue that and issue a permanent stalking injunction is a separate question. So I would argue that we can proceed on just the ex parte motion today.
But didn't I just see a request to submit just barely filed on 9/17? So just 5 days ago?
I'd have to check the date myself, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's what I saw. So I do think that there is preparation time. We do have to give due processes to, if they weren't prepared to argue that today, it's not fair to throw it on them and put that in there. Let me just look at a couple things here.
Hey, Gwendolyn. This was 9/22.
Oh.
Your Honor, I'm just going to grab my client.
Ellie? Oh no, not Melissa. Hey, Dutchy Dutchy. Hey, LW, we're just getting into it.
Okay, counsel, here is what I am going to suggest we do. In light of, it doesn't sound like typically on these we have limited witnesses and or they proceed by proffer. It doesn't sound like either party, well, it sounds like one party is willing to proceed by proffer, the other wants to call witnesses. And we certainly do not have enough time to do it today to get everything in. So what I'm suggesting is I'd like to set this for October 16th. And in that time I could give you, can't give you the whole day, but I can give you a good portion of it.
Okay, so he's saying I'm going to schedule the October 16th. That's where Law and Crime then filled out their form to be there and to video. Lauren was in the green room with Duty Ron. I'm going to turn off the noise suppression. Tell me if you guys like the sound better. This is with it off. I'm going to go back 20 seconds. Let me know how it sounds.
So what I'm suggesting is I'd like to set this for October 16th.
That's with the noise suppression off, and now I'm going to turn it on.
And in that time I could give you, can't give you the whole day, but I can give you a good portion of it.
Better now? Okay.
Does October 16th work?
Counsel for petitioner is available that day, but my client's still checking.
Thanks, LW. Hold on. LW, did you ever tell me how you saw my live before it was listed? How did you see it unlisted in chat? She's so busy. Hey, Momo.
It works scheduling wise, but I'm going to object.
Okay, Mr. Dunkelberger, I heard you say you're going to object. Go ahead and state your objection.
Yeah, just for the record, thank you, Your Honor. It was noticed for today. We asked for a stipulated continuance. We didn't get it. We moved for continuance.
See, they asked for a stipulated continuance. They were denied.
It was continued 3 business days. We have witnesses here from out of state to be sworn in to testify regarding their affidavits to proceed by proffer. It was scheduled patently for an hour. If counsel was unprepared to present petitioner's case within the time allotted, then it was sort of incumbent on him to contact the court and to determine how much time would be available. In the meantime, my client's civil rights have been severely impeded by the temporary order. We'd like to have her day in court. A continuance of almost a month severely prejudices her. We've got that's recalling witnesses that have come from out of state. And we prepared because the court told us to be in court today, and we prepared for the time that the court had to give us. And it's simply prejudicial and unfair to respondent to have it continued at this point, particularly when counsel had every opportunity to stipulate to a continuance and make sure that the court would have time to hear hours of testimony. And that's our objection, Your Honor.
How many witnesses do you have from out of state?
We have 2 here today.
Okay. Mr. Dale, do you want to respond?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I don't think it's fair to put that on us. I mean, the hearing was set for 11 a.m. I'm sorry, but then there was no mention or notice that it would only be an hour. I apologize, but we were prepared to examine many witnesses to prove our case. counsel had the same information, opposing counsel had the same information we did. For him to assume that he could call in witnesses today to examine them all in an hour, I mean, it's equally to blame. That's not a reason for to say that he was prejudiced. So, Your Honor, I guess I defer to the court on that. But,
okay, here's what we're going to do. What I'm going to do is we're going to get this on the record. We've got 2 out-of-state witnesses. I'm going to bring their testimony. I'm going to have you put them on the stand. We're going to continue this for the morning of October 16th. We're going to put these 2 witnesses on the stand right now, and we will let them testify. You can cross-examine them. Everybody should be prepared to do that because we've discussed it. And then we can, because your argument, Mr. Dale, is hey, we were planning on putting on all witnesses today and have them testify in cross-examination, so there shouldn't be any preparation issue there. You've indicated you're prepared, Mr. Dunkelberger, to move forward with those 2 witnesses. So let's put those 2 witnesses on the stand, then we will continue this until October 16th, beginning at 8:30, and expect that it will be done by 3 o'clock on the 16th. Sounds like that did work for everybody's schedule. Okay, any questions?
no, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Dunkelberger.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. We'd like to call Janeese to the stand, please.
This is Janeese.
Please stand right here. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give and the matter before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Go ahead and have a seat.
Miss, could you state and spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Janeese.
Okay. And Miss, in anticipation of today's proceeding, did you submit a declaration to be filed with the court?
Yes.
And did you have the opportunity to review and comment on the declaration before it was filed?
Yes.
Were you able to correct or modify or draft or otherwise comment or contribute meaningfully to this declaration?
Yes.
Did you authorize signature of this declaration?
Yes.
And did you understand that when you did that, you did it under penalty of perjury of Utah law?
Yes.
And do you certify here today that the declaration is correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Yes.
Just by way of a quick review for the court, could you please tell us your relationship with respondent, Ms.
I met her in April 2024 at a trial, and we became friends. And we have continued to be friends and attend other trials together.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with the petitioner, Lauren Matthias?
I met her, well, we were in Facebook groups for a different case, and I met her in April 2023, but we were never friends.
Has Ms. ever asked you to contact Ms. Matthias?
Never.
For any reason?
No.
Do you understand that by discussing your declaration here today that it's going to proceed by way of proffer and is going to take the place of your testimony on direct examination?
Yes.
And with that, Your Honor, I'll yield my time.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying, Tripper. There's something more there.
Just a clarifying question. I wasn't clear on when you met my client.
I met her at a trial April, I think it was, I'm trying to remember, 23 maybe?
April 23?
I think, well, yeah, 23.
Do you remember the trial?
Yeah, it was Laura Daybell's trial in Boise.
Okay. That's all I have, thanks.
Ma'am, you may step down.
Okay, that's it
No,
for
assuming
Janeese.
no redirect.
I don't know anything about her brother.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Other
ma'am.
than Lauren said she dated him when she was 29.
Yes, we'd
He
like
was
to
a
call
doctor.
Lindsay, please.
Okay, here comes Lindsay. Thank you, Julie A. Thank you, you guys. Thank you, Janice. I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Miss, could you state and spell your name for the record, please?
Lindsay. Sorry.
Thank you, Ms. And in anticipation of the hearing today, did you provide a declaration to be filed with the court?
I did.
And did you have the opportunity to review, draft, contribute, or otherwise put your seal of approval on the declaration?
Yes.
And did you authorize me to sign on your behalf and file with the court?
Yes.
And did you understand at the time that your testimony and your declaration could be offered in place of your direct examination here at trial?
Yes.
And do you certify that you understood that you were making the statements that you made under penalty of perjury of Utah law?
Yes.
And are these statements true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Yes.
Just by way of background and a quick summary for the court, could you please tell me your relationship with Ms. Respondent?
I met Christina in April of 2024, and we became friends and have been friends since.
Okay. And would you please describe your relationship with the petitioner, Lauren Matthias?
I met Lauren Matthias in April of 2023, and we were acquaintances at first and then later became friends. And then we were friends in April of 2024 when I met Christina.
Okay. Was there any point at which your friendship with Ms. Matthias changed?
Yes.
When was that?
In December of 2024.
And what happened?
Well, I was freelancing, working for her, and that relationship ended. I thought we were still friends. We talked in December. Everything was fine. Then the next time I saw her in person was in April of 2025. And we greeted each other briefly at the courthouse and lined for security. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. That type of thing. And I haven't spoken to her since.
Okay. Did at any time Ms. ask you to contact Ms. Matthias for any reason?
No.
In your declaration, you gave some testimony about an incident that occurred at a restaurant in Boise. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And was there any interaction by you personally with the police after that episode?
No.
Okay. Have you reviewed the police report that was generated from that episode?
Yes.
Okay. And you received a copy of it previously?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know whether or not that investigation remains open?
To my knowledge, it's closed.
Okay. And what's your knowledge on that based on?
Based on the police report, the officer talked to the restaurant, maybe the waiter, confirmed that me and my friends were at the restaurant before. We left after, and the officer put in his report that he spoke to.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
It's in
Okay.
Hold on. Let me just. Yeah, if she's going to testify anything the officer says, it will be hearsay sustained.
Okay, move to strike, please.
Yeah, that's stricken. Any hearsay testimony, the rest of it.
Okay.
Thank
So
you,
with
Nicole.
respect to your review of the report, just to repeat for the court, you've
Yeah.
reviewed the report.
Yes.
Okay. Was Ms. present at the restaurant in Boise?
No.
Do you know where she was?
Europe.
Okay.
Objection, foundation.
Sustained.
How do you know where she was?
Because she told me she was going to Europe.
But
Objection calls for hearsay, or is hearsay, excuse me.
It's an admission by a party opponent. Overruled.
And in any event, she wasn't at the restaurant with you?
Correct.
Okay. Following the incident at the restaurant, or at any other time, have you, on behalf of Ms. ever reached out to Ms. Matthias?
Never.
With that, I'll yield, Your Honor.
Is it okay if I drink one of these waters?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Miss.
Miss. I was also confused by your testimony. When did you initially meet my client?
April of 2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I heard you say 24.
Sorry.
And how were you introduced to her?
I don't know. We were both at the same trial, and I might have introduced myself. I was there for work. I knew Lauren to be in that same industry. Just, hi, we're in the same trial, and maybe something like that. I don't really remember.
Okay. How do you know the respondent?
I met her in April of 2024, the next year, at a trial as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you describe your relationship? How would you describe your relationship with the respondent?
Really good. We became friends. Kind of happenstance, but we had a lot in common, and just kind of naturally became friends.
And you're still friends to this day?
Yes.
Do you communicate regularly?
Yes.
How often?
Multiple times a week.
Do you have a social media account?
Yes.
Do you follow the respondent's social media account?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the account titled Objection, Your Honor?
Yes.
What is that account?
That is one of Christina's TikTok accounts.
You say one of hers. Does she have others?
She has a art account where she posts art stuff because she's like a artist.
Okay. Have you seen or watched, or are you familiar with the videos that are on the respondent's Objection, Your Honor account?
Have I seen them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All of them?
I don't know if I've seen all of them, but I've seen a majority.
Have you ever commented on any one of her videos?
Yeah.
How many times?
Okay, I just have to make a comment here. I think it's so funny that the name of the TikTok is Objection, Your Honor, because the lawyer, when he's questioning, he's saying the name of the account Objection, Your Honor. Nicole, what do you mean? Who is this? This is this is Lindsay being cross-examined by Lauren's lawyer.
Or are you familiar with the videos that are on the respondent's Objection, Your Honor account?
Have I seen them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All of them?
I don't know if I've seen all of them, but I've seen a majority.
Have you ever commented on any one of her videos?
Yeah.
How many times?
I don't know, maybe 1, 2, 3, maybe.
Okay. In those videos, do you recall the respondent ever referencing to a person as ex-friend?
Yes.
Who is the ex-friend, according to your knowledge?
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation calls for speculation.
What's his name?
So you've seen the videos, and you just mentioned you have seen the ones where she mentions her ex-friend.
Correct.
Okay. Let me ask you, what is your understanding of who the ex-friend is?
My understanding, the ex-friend to be Lauren Matthias.
That's my client.
Correct.
Okay. how would you characterize the nature of the videos about the ex-friend, my client? Were they positive or negative?
Which videos?
I'm just asking for your overall impression
Okay.
of all the videos you said you've seen.
Overall
Were they
impression.
positive about my client or negative, in your opinion?
I don't think they were positive, but
Okay, so you can't say they were positive. Can you think of any video that was positive?
there were actually a few where they weren't about your client. They were about protecting like your own personal peace, things like that, things that were like kind of, I don't know, not like motivational, but like peaceful, like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. Do you communicate with my client to this day?
No.
When was the last time you communicated with my client, to your memory?
The last text messages I sent her were in January of this year. I was asking her to coordinate a podcast collaboration. Those messages were friendly, business, professional, and then the last time I spoke to her in person was in April of 2025 when we briefly greeted each other.
Okay. Did your relationship with my client have any professional nature to it?
Yes, at one point it did.
How so?
After I left one of the jobs I was at, I was kind of waiting for my next one to start, and so we were friends, and I offered to help, and Lauren was very supportive of me at the time when I was leaving the place I was at, and so I worked for her and her husband freelance for a few months.
So you were an employee of hers for a few months?
I wasn't an employee, like, are you meaning legally? So it was like a 1099 contract.
Okay.
If that's what you mean.
When did your employment end?
I believe beginning of December, approximately.
Do you recall any interactions with the respondent? Did you have any personal conversations with the respondent about my client, either before or after your employment ended?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, can you recall any conversations you've had with the respondent about my client?
Yeah.
At any time?
Yeah.
Okay. How about after your employment?
After? Yeah.
Okay. What was the nature of those conversations?
Can you be more specific? I'm sorry.
Sure. Whenever you were speaking with her about my client, would you characterize it as positive or negative?
I guess I don't really. I'm not. Can you ask me that one more time? I'm trying to understand.
Sure. I'm just asking if the nature of your conversations you've had with the respondent about my client after your employment ended, were they positive about my client?
I'll object. It's lacks foundation, vague.
Yeah, sustained.
Okay. Let me ask you this: how often would you say did you and the respondent have conversations about my client after you left her employment?
Well, at first we were all friends. So in that month of December, things were a little bit awkward between Lauren and I, and so I think that the conversations were based on, are you going to reach out to her? Like, or do you think this is something that can be fixed? like the friendship. And then after that, I'm not really sure. I am aware of I put in the thing about, like this case, like I know like in April, when Christina and Lauren had a conversation, like I knew about that.
Were you aware of, when did you become aware of the respondent's social media account about my client?
I'll object. Assumes facts, lacks foundation.
She's already testified she's seen and reviewed all the videos and knowledge of the accounts.
So what the testimony I heard is that she's aware of some communication there, whether it was on the objection, Your Honor, a TikTok account, and that she understands that the ex-friend referred to there was referring to petitioner. So if you want to ask her about that specifically, or if there's others, you can ask, but otherwise the objection is sustained.
Okay. Do you recall speaking with the respondent at any time about her social media account titled Objection, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Describe that first, when you first became aware, please.
I don't really remember. I think I would be guessing. I would be sure. I was probably, I don't recall specifically.
Do you recall if the respondent alerted you or made you aware that that channel existed, or did you happen upon it on your own?
I can't remember.
And you don't remember the first time you watched a video on that account?
Oh, no. I can't remember if she told me about it or if it popped up on my page.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So, do you know approximately how many videos are on that account?
No.
Okay. I'll represent you. There's over 50. Okay.
I'll object to the representation.
Well, you can represent that. I just want some clarification. 50 of what? 50 total videos? 50 videos allegedly referring to the ex-friend? What are the videos?
Thank you, Your Honor. There are over 50 separate videos or posts on this my Objection, Your Honor account referring to the ex-friend and discussing some of her private details of personal conduct.
Your Honor, I object to that. That's a fact in dispute in this case.
Hold on. I understand your objection. What you can do is you can ask her if she understands that there are 50, if that would surprise her. If she doesn't know, she doesn't know.
Okay. Have you seen all the videos, all of them?
No, I haven't watched every single video.
Are you aware of about what time they began?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, what's your recollection?
Maybe in June,
Okay.
maybe?
Was this before or after you ceased working for my client?
After?
Okay. So, to clarify, the videos began popping up on this account, to your knowledge, after July of 24?
25.
25, excuse me.
Sorry.
Okay. Did you have any involvement in making or creating those videos?
No.
Okay. Are you aware that there's a second social media account titled the same Objection, Your Honor on, I think it's Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen those videos?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Maybe. All right.
I can expand on that if you want a little bit, but
Sure, go ahead.
So because I do other people's social media for work, I'm not typically logged into my own social medias. So when I do log on or switch accounts, like I kind of can't remember because I don't do it that often. I kind of don't really like social media for myself because I work doing it, so I can't recall.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
That's all right. I'll move on.
Yeah.
Let me backtrack just a little bit for sake of time. to your understanding, based on your conversations with the respondent, who's your friend, who you mentioned you communicate with several times a week, if you said 2, what is your understanding of the purpose for which those accounts were created?
What's my understanding of the purpose of why those were
Why
created?
did the respondent make those accounts? Do you know?
I think because her art ones had like 50,000 followers on it, and she didn't want to put that on her art.
And that would have been accurate before you asked this second question, but I think the second question is appropriate, so overruled.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Sure. You stated the respondent has another art account that she uses for art. I was asking you so you said she has another account. She wanted. Why did the respondent, to your knowledge, create a separate account titled "Objection, Your Honor"?
Now that has been asked and answered. She said so that she didn't intermix. She's got her art account. She didn't want to run this other stuff on the feed. The question that the second one you followed up with was, what are the other posts or videos she's putting on the other account?
Thank you, Your Honor, for that. That's correct. So, what are the other posts that the respondent made?
The other posts on...
That you referred to other posts that she didn't want on her art account.
Oh,
what were those videos about?
Those videos were Christina talking about her life, things going on in her life.
What was going on in her life at that time?
And I'll object. Lacks foundation. Calls for speculation.
To your knowledge.
Hold on. I'm going to sustain that objection. Go ahead with your next question.
Okay. Do you have? Well, I'm just asking you. What do you understand those videos on her other account to be about? Or, excuse me, let me rephrase. Why did she create a separate account specifically for these videos? You mentioned she didn't want these videos on her other account, on her art main account or whatever. What is your understanding of why she created a separate account about other videos?
So I actually didn't really understand that part either. Like, I don't know. I don't know why she created the second account. I just assumed it was because she didn't want it on her art account.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't think we had a conversation of that. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
Did I answer the question? I'm sorry.
Well, I think you have. That's all I have.
I know we're out of time, Your Honor. Very brief redirect here. The posts that you saw, did they contain threats?
No.
Did they name Lauren?
Hold on. I need some foundation. What posts?
The posts that you were discussing that you said that you saw
Yeah.
on these accounts?
On the objection, Your Honor accounts?
Yes, Your Honor.
0.
I'm going to check to.
That was the judge that said, on the objection, Your Honor account. I fucking love that.
Very brief redirect here. The posts that you saw, did they contain threats?
No.
Did they name Lauren?
Hold on. I need some foundation. What posts?
The posts that you were discussing that you said that you saw
Yeah.
on these accounts?
On the objection, Your Honor accounts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
0.
Okay.
I'm going to check to legal conclusion, Your Honor, about threatening. What constitutes threatening language?
Okay. Overruled.
Did they refer to Lauren by name?
No.
Did they depict Lauren by photograph with her face showing?
No.
Have you ever threatened Miss Matthias or her associates?
Never.
Have you ever purposely stood in their space in order to menace them or intimidate them?
Never.
Have you ever seen Miss MacArthur stand close purposely to Miss Matthias to threaten or intimidate her?
No.
You mentioned some conversations that you'd had with Miss that were about Miss Matthias. During those conversations, did you ever hear Miss MacArthur threaten Miss Matthias?
No.
Did you ever hear Miss MacArthur talk about encouraging someone else to threaten or menace Miss
No.
Matthias? Those are all the questions I have, Your Honor.
Anything else?
It gets worse, Bobo.
So, Your Honor,
Just
if I
wait.
may, based on the foundation that's in the Janeese declaration, I'd like to move for the admission of defense exhibits 11 through 13. Foundation's been laid, and would like the court to receive those.
What are exhibits 11, 13?
Yes, Your Honor. So there's one photo that depicts some of the people that I referenced in the declaration. There is the Boise police report, defendants 12, and then there's also a video.
Which we have the Boise police report to go over. We have the actual RO with written statements. Then we have Christina's objection, Christina's declaration, and then 2 more declarations after this. Thank you for joining. Please hit the like button, guys. It's a free way to really help me out. I appreciate it a lot.
That shows a proximity issue that was raised in Ms. Matthias' declaration.
Response?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I haven't had the opportunity to review any of these videos. They haven't been produced or presented here today. The declarations themselves have been produced, but they were only produced on Friday.
Oh, Your Honor,
So I would object to them being introduced at this point.
I sent counsel a copy of the videos. We actually sent a link to their, we sent a link to our exhibits within an hour or so of receiving their exhibits for the first time. And so, yeah, these have been provided ahead of time. They've had the opportunity to see.
Right ahead of time, you guys both exchanged exhibits on Friday.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
And we that's the first time that we had received them as well, even though they're referenced in the August declarations. And so, again, that's done in anticipation of trial. If you'd like me to play for the court or show the court the exhibits, I'm happy to do so. But they should be admitted at this point.
What's your objection? Do you have a foundation objection, or is it just that you think you didn't see until Friday?
Well, I don't know what the videos are, so I'm not sure if they lack foundation.
Did you review the declaration?
I did. I have not received any videos contrary to, or I haven't received the evidence that he claims to have produced. I haven't seen it in my inbox. I haven't seen any notices filed with the court that they were produced.
Your Honor, I'd be happy to provide the email that we provided Mr. Dell.
In any case, even if they were provided, it was just last Friday. I haven't had a chance to review it.
Yeah, this is the problem with the cramming that's going on. We do have some real due process issues. First of all, are we done with Ms.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on. Now, this is the judge. Okay, this is the judge that just said that. Let's play that part again.
Your Honor, I'd be happy to provide the email that we provided Mr. Dell.
In any case, even if they were provided, it was just last Friday. I haven't had a chance to review it.
Yeah, this is the problem with the cramming that's going on. We do have some real due process issues. First of all, are we done with Ms.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me step down. Thank you. I'm going to withhold admitting those right now, and you can make that motion again when we motion to admit. I don't know that we need anything else from this. You're relying on our declaration to lay foundation. So I'll withhold admitting them. Are those that, you guys can sit down, are those the 2 witnesses we need today?
Yes, Your Honor. Just revisiting that issue, though, I mean, the issue that I'm having is I'd like to make a motion to dismiss the temporary restraining order today. Again, almost a month is a long time for a temporary order to last, and I think that particularly Defendants 12, the Boise police report, is really central to the way that Ms. Matthias obtained the temporary order in the first place. She represents...
So that's going to be hearsay. I mean, let's talk about that. That's one of the things. That police report's hearsay, and her testimony doesn't get you past hearsay.
Well, so her testimony can lay... And if you'd like, I can absolutely lay foundation for how she received it. It's a business record. The police have kept it in the ordinary course of business.
You don't have an officer here.
This is a civil proceeding. That's right, but she can testify that she received it directly from the police along with the other videos and things that the petitioner submitted. And with that, it's kept in the ordinary course of business. It is a police report,
but she couldn't lay foundation. And you might look at it, she can't lay foundation that it was kept in the regular course of business. She's not the records keeper for the police department.
Woohoo!
And really, let's go to your primary point. I don't want to get caught up on that. Your primary point is that you've got some issues with the temporary stalking injunction being extended during this time period. And from your arguments previously, it seems like your client's primary concern is that this impacts her ability to make a living.
Yes.
And her free speech rights.
Yes, Your Honor.
Talk to me about the free speech rights. How does this impact her free speech rights?
Yeah, so with that, Your Honor,
and I read your case law. I want to know factually what in the stalking injunction prevents her from saying what she's saying. Go ahead.
Sure, Your Honor. Well, so, and we don't believe that it does, but petitioner has alleged that by posting videos, again, without using the petitioner's name or her likeness, that she has violated the temporary order. Now, the amended temporary restraining order does say to keep off online. The respondent understood that to be do not contact her on TikTok, do not contact her on Instagram or on any other platform. The allegation is simply by referencing, making a post that's related to the petitioner online, that she's somehow violated the temporary order. There's 3 videos that they claim have already violated it. That's 3 of the 6 alleged violations that they're prepared to talk about today. And so there's got to be some clarity there. That just doesn't jive with Towner or with Fischler. Certainly the First Amendment allows talking to third parties or the public about somebody. That's Towner v. Ridgway. That's been the law for a long time. Fischler reiterates it. It's just plain letter law in Utah. She hasn't communicated through these posts to or specifically directed at the petitioner. And for that reason, I mean, she's basically gagged online at this point, according to petitioner. Now, we're hoping that the court determines and agrees with us that you can't interpret the amended temporary order that way, but certainly they've alleged that on the language on its face that she's not allowed to go online and to post anything related to the petitioner. And obviously that's got First Amendment issues, and practically it's unfeasible. Everybody goes online and everybody can comment with their friends. Instagram, TikTok, those are ways that we communicate these days, and certainly Ms. McCoy is entitled to communicate to her friends and followers via these online platforms. And it's simply unfair to go another 3 weeks just allowing petitioner to collect videos that have been posted that are First Amendment protected and bring them and use them as a cudgel when we get finally to court for the full hearing, which we thought was going to happen today.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and respond.
I have to object to the characterizations he's made on behalf of myself or my client and our positions. The evidence, like we're getting lost in weeds. The motion he made was based on the declaration, the testimony we've heard in the declarations, that the court should suspend the temporary order. But there is no evidence to suggest that. Like, that's not the question. The question, Your Honor, is whether or not my client has the burden to prove that it should continue. There's been no motion to set it aside at this point. So that's improper. That's not properly before the court. The rest is just argument and representations.
Why would he file a motion to set it aside? He thought he had a hearing today to deal with it in full.
Well, I'm just saying procedurally. There are procedural ways to do that. Those haven't been met. Satisfied. The other arguments about what's been said online or what they're about have yet to be proven and shown. Virtually all of what he said is not based on evidence that is before the court today. So the court can't make that ruling today.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and with that, Your Honor, this is a motion. I mean, we're making it. We learned minutes ago that this is going to be extended for another 3 weeks, and this severely impacts respondents' civil rights. I mean, this is what we have. I mean, at a minimum, we need a clarification for the amended temporary order that that makes clear that she's entitled to go online and talk about whatever she chooses to talk about online, and that certainly can't be a gag order that it has extended, that we're going to be on for a motion for sanctions about, and then that's going to go for another 3 weeks now.
Your Honor, I would object to the characterization of the language of the civil stalking injunction itself. It's not what he represents it to be.
Well, I'm reading it,
It's
so
in-
I can, and it's my order, so I'll make the interpretation of it.
Sure.
Okay. I do have, I'm not sure how this was interpreted, but let's go back to the purpose of an ex parte temporary order.
Okay.
That is to stop any.
This is important. This is the judge. This is probably the most important part of this.
Harm. Specifically, we're looking at ongoing threats or physical harm that could happen. It's made without all the information. It's made simply, basically from one side, providing the information.
Did you hear that? The ex parte is only one-sided. Simply one-sided. Listen again.
Ex parte temporary order. That is to stop any harm. Specifically, we're looking at ongoing threats or physical harm that could happen. It's made without all the information. It's made simply, basically from one side, providing the information. As the ex parte order right now, it prohibits personal contact and prohibits threatening, annoying, stalking, harassing. That will remain in place as is. As to the no contact order, that will remain in place. Specifically as to the text, mail, email, or any other communication directly or indirectly. In other words, I don't want them talking to each other. Now, it does identify other people and family members for sure. So Mr. Matthias is sure going to be covered by that. As to Grace and Yor, is there any reason that your client would need to contact Mr. Yor?
Miss Yor, but no.
Oh, excuse me, Miss Yor, thank you. Okay, then Miss Yor's included on this. Son is covered by this. So that will remain in place as well. As far as the stay away order portion of it, stay away from her home, that will remain in place as well. Is there any reason why she would need to go to near a job site or a school of Ms. Matthias?
Well, no, but just to clarify, I mean, there's public places where they both may.
I'm going to deal with that.
Okay, so no, not in Henderson, Nevada.
Okay. And then I think this is the provision that may be misinterpreted here, that she's prohibited from online forums and social media accounts. But that was in kind of in parentheses, TikTok, but then it says down there the 2025 CrimeCon Expo that was in Denver, Colorado, September 5th through 7th. When I was reviewing this, that was what I was looking at, was that CrimeCon. I in no way intended that the respondent was to be kept off of social media sites. I do think that's freedom of speech.
You hear that? She specifically, Lauren specifically put in there CrimeCon. CrimeCon media.
No, but just to clarify, I mean, there's public places where they both may.
I'm going to deal with that.
Okay, so no, not in Henderson, Nevada.
Okay. And then I think this is the provision that may be misinterpreted here, that she's prohibited from online forums and social media accounts. But that was in kind of in parentheses, TikTok, but then it says down there the 2025 CrimeCon Expo that was in Denver, Colorado, September 5th through 7th. When I was reviewing this, that was what I was looking at, was that CrimeCon. I in no way intended that the respondent was to be kept off of social media sites. I do think that's freedom of speech issues, and I don't think that this order was intended to cover that. So she can get on those. Now, I guess she runs the risk if she's on those and those are interpreted as annoying or harassing, although I will say that's a fairly high bar in the sense of just because somebody says something you don't like, that's not going to be a violation of a stalking injunction. And there would have to be directed comments that were clearly meant for a specific purpose. Yeah, there was, in obtaining the order, petitioner made some allegations that she had strong belief that she was in immediate danger in relation again to the crime con that was in Denver, Colorado. Now, as to the work environment, it does sound like the parties may attend similar court hearings. I'm assuming court hearings. Is there any other public buildings where they need to be in the same spot?
Well, the accompanying press conferences and other kind of public places is what we're talking about.
Okay. As to those, I do think that this order is not intended to stop Ms. from working.
So I would object to that characterization, Your Honor.
Which part?
Sorry, the respondent doesn't work at courthouses. She's not a criminal investigator. My client is. So the representation that they need to appear in public, they may appear in public places based on her employment is not accurate. She has no employment in this field.
I think it's not disputed that they're public places. It may be in dispute whether they consider her to be a professional in this field. We certainly do. Call that a disputed issue, but it's not disputed that they're public places.
What does she do?
She takes photos.
She's a photographer.
Yeah.
She's not a photographer for the court.
Hold
Sorry.
Well, that's true. She's a freelance photographer, and she also is, like everybody, trying to make her way in this true crime industry.
Well, and I have freelance for 8.
Okay, that's right. She does freelance work for some national news outlets you would have heard about.
Okay. Yeah, let me address the public place argument first. That doesn't fly because stalking injunctions often cover public places. However, it does sound like she has a right to be there and she's got a purpose for being there. And if that's the case, if she's there with a purpose, then she can be there. The order is that they will keep, that she will keep her distance because Ms. Matthias, she's not a respondent, there isn't a counter one. So Ms. is required to keep her distance from the petitioner. Now, it's hard to say exactly how far that is because it may be different if we've got a media scrum or something and we've been taking photos, then it may be closer. But she certainly cannot be right next to her. She certainly can't be making faces to her. She can't be making gestures. She can't be making comments.
Faces. She can't be making faces. I know. I love it too.
Then it may be closer. But she certainly cannot be right next to her. She certainly can't be making faces to her. She can't be making gestures. She can't be making comments. None of that can occur. If they're in a courtroom, like a courtroom here today, I'd expect that they would be on opposite sides of the courtroom. So I expect to receive a modified temporary civil stalking injunction with those changes incorporated.
Your Honor, if I may, I'm sorry. There is actually one more place where the online stuff and the social media, way down at the bottom with other relief sought, is actually where I was quoting from earlier, where it says that she's not allowed to post relating to or referencing petitioner. And that's, I think, one of the things that we need to clarify.
Well, it says respondent shall cease and desist any and all online activity and communications relating to or referring to the petitioner, her immediate family and extended family members.
Is that portion subject to the court's clarification on the other bit that you just made?
Yeah. Now I think I was clear before that I expect her not to post anything necessarily that she's running a risk. If she posts something negative about her, that's something she can, I guess, theoretically do. But she needs to be careful in walking that line.
Boom.
Is there any clarification you could give us on what might be qualified as negative?
Well, if she's threatening her, again, we have to go back to the purpose of a stalking injunction.
Hold on. Her lawyer says, can we go back to what would be negative? This is hysterical. I love it.
Is there any clarification you could give us on what might be qualified as negative?
Well, if she's threatening her, again, we have to go back to the purpose of a stalking injunction. If she's threatening her, if there's a harassment that would cause emotional harm, I mean, all of us run the risk that somebody's going to say something bad about us. Whether that turns into harassment I think that's a high bar.
Is there any evidence?
Let me be clear on this, Mr. Dale. This civil stalking injunction was in no way meant to silence what Miss is doing.
Ooh.
And I want to be very clear on that. And any permanent stalking injunction will not be for that purpose. That is not what a stalking injunction is for.
Oh, did you hear that? A very high bar. That is not what it is for. It is not to silence someone. It's not to take away their free speech. Let's hear that again.
Whether that turns into harassment I think that's a high bar.
Is there any evidence?
Let me be clear on this, Mr. Dale. This civil stalking injunction was in no way meant to silence what Miss is doing. And I want to be very clear on that. And any permanent stalking injunction will not be for that purpose. That is not what a stalking injunction is for.
I guess I'm looking for clarity on what it is the court is basing its ruling on when it says what she does or what she's doing. And
what do you mean?
So the respondent isn't a true crime investigator. She's a photographer. She has an art channel on Instagram. She has separate media accounts, social media accounts that discuss solely the flaws of my client, to air them, to cause her harassment. I guess I'm not sure that, but we haven't had a chance to provide all that evidence yet, so we'll do that at the next hearing. My concern, though, is that based on just the testimony today, that has not been challenged or refuted.
Laura made a lot of money on the 9-hour live, cause I'm going to get paid for every time she called me that. Holy ST.
Thank you so much, Darcy. If I was the stalker, I would hope Lauren made a lot of money on the 9-hour live, because I'm going to get paid for every time she called me that. Holy shit. Thank you so much. I stopped because it reads it, so I'll go back 10 seconds.
But we haven't had a chance to provide all that evidence yet, so we'll do that at the next hearing. My concern, though, is that based on just the testimony today, that has not been challenged or refuted, and so there is still an outstanding concern that the activity we've alleged that is happening online and in person and to other contacts has not been refuted properly and is not.
Yeah, well, and I'm not making a final ruling. I'm making a temporary order.
So if the order is to remove this online protection from specific directed, harassment, embarrassing things that would cause my client emotional distress, I guess that's what I'm looking for clarification on. Is the court withdrawing that based on something it saw today? Because there isn't anything we've seen today that would.
Well, I think what the court is looking at is we're trying to get more clarity than a one-sided order that was initially signed. That was based on one-sided information.
Sure, and we don't mean to interfere with her public or First Amendment rights. But to the extent she has made specific channels titled Objection, Your Honor, that are about my client, we would ask that protections or restrictions on those accounts be held in place until we can have a full hearing.
That seems to be directly a freedom of speech issue.
They're directed at my client.
Right, which is a freedom of speech issue. You can say things about people. We may not like them, but we can say things. What she's prohibited from doing, let me be clear because you're asking for clarity. She can.
Oh, I fucking love this. She knew she was going to lose. She knew she was going to lose, and she knew that Law and Crime was going to be there. And can we blame Law and Crime for wanting to be there for this? This is fucking gold.
Those accounts be held in place until we can
That
have a
seems to be directly a freedom of speech issue.
They're directed at my client.
Right, which is a freedom of speech issue. You can say things about people. We may not like them, but we can say things. What she's prohibited from doing, let me be clear because you're asking for clarity. She cannot threaten. She can't threaten her physically or her family. She cannot defame her. If there's a defamation, then that's something that's illegal and would fit under a stalking injunction. I think that's what we're looking at is that she can't do.
I can represent to you that there are many, many videos that defame my client.
Okay.
So I would ask that that temporary protection be in place until such time as we can review, the court can review the defamation nature.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm amending it, saying that she won't threaten. We're going to be very clear online. She won't threaten. She won't defame. Okay?
Thank you. Whether online or otherwise.
Well, she's not talking to her in person. I expect zero communication.
Yeah.
As far as she can't talk to her, she can't email her, she can't text her. Mr. Dunkelberger, I want to be clear, she can't do that through a third party. She can't send a message through a third party. There is to be no communication there. The other parts of the civil stalking injunction remain intact as well. I don't want her near her house.
Does the 500 feet specifically remain?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. No. As to
Stay back 500 feet. I am totally rolling out merch this weekend that says stay back 500 feet. And I don't know what else it's going to say yet, but I'm going to be getting them ready for this weekend to roll out.
To her house. Now, like I said, the only exception to the 500 feet is if they're in a public space that they cannot be 500 feet apart. And then I expect them to be as far apart as reasonably possible. That's language I want in there, Mr. Dunkelberger.
Yes, Your Honor.
But otherwise, that is 500 feet. So
this whole Dunkelberger thing reminds me of the Depp trial. Okay, Mr. Rockin... What was his name? Mr. Rockenberg. What the fuck was the guy's name? If this goes further with Mr. Dunkelberger and we actually cover, like, the hearings and, like, a trial with Dunkelberger, crazy.
Yes, Your Honor.
But otherwise, that is 500 feet. So Mr. Dunkelberger, if they're in a mall, your client needs to move away 500 feet. If they're in a restaurant and if your client comes in second, then your client needs to not go in and needs to leave.
What if it's the other way around? What if she was there first?
Well, and why would your client go in if she's worried? Maybe she's worried about her health if she knows her there.
That's the key. If she knew, if she didn't.
Woo! Right there. Right there. The judge debunks the entire situation at the fucking restaurant. Why the fuck would you go in if you know she's gonna be there? Same thing with CrimeCon. You knew she was going. Wow. Let's hear that again.
And if your client comes in second, then your client needs to not go in and needs to leave.
What if it's the other way around? What if she was there first?
Well, and why would your client go in if she's worried? Maybe she's worried about her health if she knows her there.
That's the key. If she didn't know she was there, but the respondent says, "Well, I was here first." What should my client expect to do in that circumstance?
Well, I would expect if your client is worried about her safety, when the reason we got a stalking injunction, and she goes in there, she would leave. Now, if by chance we've got Miss McCullough is in there, I'm assuming your client's not going to go over and approach her. I'm assuming Miss McCullough is not going to approach her and that she will leave, provided she's finished her meal. But I expect that there would be no communication, there would be no, again, facial gestures, anything of that. They'd finish their meal, they'd go on their way. We got to be careful how we're using the tools of the law in this courtroom, and I expect the parties to use common sense. Okay, Mr. Dale, anything I missed on you that you want else addressed?
Let me review the language, Your Honor.
Thank you, Pines.
These clarifications you're making, I assume they apply also to the other protected individuals, her husband, her son, coworkers, etc.
Went through that, yep.
Okay, I think we did. Professional associates, other known professional associates of my client. Can we retain that language?
They're not covered under this list, so no, so you can have contact with them. What I did prohibit is third-party communications. You can't send a message through one of them.
Understood. With respect to,
go ahead.
Sorry.
Finish up.
With respect to the online posts, I think that's the biggest concern for my client. In addition to defaming statements, is there any other clarification the court can give on what would constitute a defamatory statement, so that there's no argument, so there's no
What's legally defined as defamation? It's got to fit the legal definition.
Okay. What about harassment?
I don't know what that's going to qualify as, and I can't get into everything. I would say, Ms. MacArthur, I'd be careful in the way you do that. But again, if she's just saying negative stuff, this is not, again, a stalking injunction is not a remedy for shutting down speech that a person doesn't like somebody saying about them. And it seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case.
Right there.
Well, again, you're
right there. Right freaking there. Thank you so much, Pines. What you say now, Joe Schmo? Did you hear that?
I don't know what that's going to qualify as, and I can't get into everything. I would say, Ms. MacArthur, I'd be careful in the way you do that. But again, if she's just saying negative stuff, this is not, again, a stalking injunction is not a remedy for shutting down speech that a person doesn't like somebody saying about them. And it seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case.
Well, again, Your Honor, I would argue that we're not asking to restrict her speech. She can still go anywhere else.
That is speech. Online speech is every bit as protected as anywhere else.
Some forms of speech, like threats and defamation, are not protected.
And that's what
on Prime Crime.
About them. And it seems like that's what you're trying to do in this case.
Well, again, Your Honor, I would argue that we're not asking to restrict her speech. She can still go anywhere else.
That is speech. Online speech is every bit as protected as anywhere else.
Some forms of speech, like threats and defamation, are not protected.
And that's what I put specifically.
And if that's the best we can do, like that's most clear we can be, I understand. I just thought I'd ask for any additional clarification you can give to be instructive to both parties.
Yep. Okay. I think I've been clear on that. Mr. Dunkelberger, anything from your side?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. With that, we'll plan on seeing you. We've got into 2 witnesses. I will just save the time. Outside of the parties themselves, if you've got out-of-state witnesses, they can attend virtually unless they're going to be presenting hard evidence. In other words, documents or some other type of physical evidence. If they're going to be doing that, I want them here. Because it gets real confusing with the technology. And so other than that, if they're out of state, they can appear remotely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we will be in recess. Thank you.
All rise.
Was that gold or what? Wow. So I think it's safe to assume, I think it's safe to assume we know why Law and Crime wanted to be there and why Lauren dropped it. Because we know from the actual order that, hey, KDK, that they were not going to put any minors stuff out there anyways. So moving right along, and for those that are just joining, if you missed, it is. Let me check. She took down the 9-hour. What? She did? No, she didn't. Why do people say that? No, she didn't. It's right here. She didn't take it down. She's almost on 400,000 views. It's not down. Yeah, someone said people say a lot of shit in these chats. People said that earlier that Duty Ron's was down, and that was a rumor too. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get into why are these not opening like that? Hold on. We're going to get into these declarations. The first one is going to be the Boise police report. Open with It's opening with, what is this? It's like a black screen. Why is it a black screen? Stacy, welcome to Cooterville. Come on in and close your legs. Let me see if I can open this in another thing. Yeah, let's see if this works with Chrome. Yeah, there it is. You guys can see that, right? We've got handwritten. We got all kinds of stuff. Okay. Oh, my husband is pulling in right now. Okay. So what we're going to start with is we're going to go up to the top here. You guys ready for a read through of these? This is the Boise. The first thing is the Boise police report. And you notice that her lawyer was like, oh, well, we can use, the police report. And he's like, you don't have an officer here. You don't have an officer here. Okay. Yeah, the police report and then the declarations. Southern Mimi, welcome to Cooterville. Thank you for joining today. And same goes to you, Miss Stacy. And Lexi Texie, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate y'all's support. Okay. This is Boise Police Department General Report. And if you guys super chat during the reading, I'm not ignoring you. I'll pause and go through a few at a time. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. That better? Okay. Boise, and then it says this is on April the 4th. So it's important to note that April the 9th was the same day in Christina's TikTok where she said she got love bombed by Lauren. And then later that day, Lauren was like, what the fuck? Da da da, right? Thank you so much, Katie K. All right. So it says 4/9/2025 that it occurred. And then it was reported on 7/23/2025. And then it says it's at the Bitter Creek Ale House in Boise. The charges is stalking, second degree misdemeanor. I was contacted by blank and blank at the Bitter Creek Ale House on 8th Street on the above date and time. Blank explained to me that a group of women, including L, C, and J, and blank, have engaged in a course of conduct since April of 2025 until the present that has caused her great alarm and fear. She advised that she had a falling out with L, I think that's Lindsay, but it's all redacted, so I'm just going to say L, who at one time was her colleague. Since then, she was approached and harassed by J in Arizona, that's Janeese, at a courthouse, and had to have the bailiffs tell J to leave her alone. All of the females have made TikToks disparaging blank and cyberbullying her. Could you get me a drink? Thank you. I'm reading all these documents.
Did you order any barbecue?
I didn't. I know. Sorry. On 7/23/2025, Blank asked for a seat in the press area of the Koberger trial, and L started to yell at her. Later in the evening, Blank and Blank were eating at the Bitter Creek Ale House. They were approached by L and Blank, who were harassing them and trying to intimidate them. Lori and Blank were asked to leave by the staff. Blank provided me with videos of 2 different incidents, including the incident at Bitter Creek Ale House. I did not see any intimidating or threatening behavior in the videos. I contacted 3 of the females. They all advised me that Blank had contacted them several times, and the incidents have been back and forth. And then we have the people involved here. Sergeant Matt Jacobs and Sergeant Corey Turner. Route to the city prosecutor. Then we have redacted. Now this is the initial response. On the above date and time, I was working as a sergeant for the Boise Police Department in full uniform and in a marked patrol vehicle. While working, I self-assigned to a harassment call. Self-assigned? I don't know what that means, but at Bitter Creek Ale House, located at 246 North 8th Street. When I arrived, I spoke with the calling party, Blank, via telephone. Blank advised me that a group of females she is familiar with followed her to the Bitter Creek Ale House and confronted her. Blank advised that this group of females has been harassing her, creating TikToks about her, and bullying her since April of 2025. Blank advised that she used to work with a female named Blank, was her producer, and last year they split ways. When they split ways, Blank made a comment that Blank was a bully. According to Blank, since that time, Blank and her friends have been harassing her. Blank said that they are making TikToks about her, cyberbullying her, and contacting her in various locations. She advised that on April the 9th, 2025, in the Maricopa County Courthouse, a female by the name of Blank approached Blank about hurt feelings. She recorded Blank and their private conversation in an area that recording was not allowed. Blank texted with Blank to not share her private conversation. This turned into a back and forth battle via text and emails. On April 15th, Jay approached Blank to speak with her at the courthouse in Arizona. Blank advised Jay that she did not want to talk to her. Due to her actions, Blank was concerned enough that she advised the bailiff at the courthouse. She advised the bailiff. Fuck, I'm losing my own place. At the courthouse of Blank's actions. The bailiff at that time contacted Janeese, which is not redacted, and advised her to not speak with Blank any further. Blank said that after that contact, they made even more TikTok talks about her. TikTok talks. See that? TikTok talks. Here, I need to get my highlighter so you guys can see where we're at. See the TikTok talks? We're going to have some TikTok talks. And they even made comments that Blank wanted to rape her own brother. Blank said that everywhere she goes, they will videotape and harass her. Blank advised that it got bad enough that she sent a cease and desist letter to Lindsay, which is not fucking redacted. On this date, which was, on this date, which was 7/23/25, Blank arrived at the Koberger trial sentencing. When she arrived, several of these females, including L, were also present. Due to the small amount of seating, attempted to find a seat, and the only seats that were available were close to Elle. She asked Elle if she could sit near her, at which time Jay, who is a friend of Elle, told Blank to stop speaking to Elle because she already sent her a cease and desist letter. Crazy, right? How do I get rid of this highlighting? I don't know. Okay, anyways, later in the evening at about 2300 hours, which is 11 p.m., Blank was at Bitter Creek Ale House. At this time, she was having dinner with her new producer, Blank. While they noticed that Jay was filming them from outside the restaurant, and she flipped them off. Blank felt uncomfortable, so she began filming as well. They were then contacted by Blank and Blank, who came up from behind them. According to Blank and Blank, started yelling at them and was trying to intimidate them. She was speaking with them about the many confrontations they've had over the past few months. Eventually, the waiter came over and asked Blank and Blank to leave. They walked away and went across the street to a restaurant and stayed there for approximately an hour. Blank believed they were staying there so they could confront them when they left the restaurant. This sounds like a big case of paranoia to me. And that's the video where we have Grayson saying, well, they're across the street. This is how people get murdered. I need to get a drink. I'm going to read one more paragraph and then I'm going to go grab a drink real quick. I need to wet my whistle. Wet the whistle. At that time, she called the police department because she felt uncomfortable and wanted an escort to her vehicle. I spoke with Blank. She advised me that she was aware of the situation and that she had also been filmed at the Koberger trial. She said Jay was filming her and putting a camera close to her face at the trial. Blank was concerned by this action but ignored her. Blank noticed that Blank was filming her and Blank while they were sitting at the restaurant, and then also advised that Blank and Blank spoke with them. She also advised that the females were sitting across the street at a restaurant. She made it sound like they were standing on the damn sidewalk across the street waiting for them to like pounce on them. That's how they made it sound. They're waiting for us. No, they were asked to leave, so they went to a different fucking restaurant. Holy cow. This is crazy. She was very concerned and fearful for her safety, which is why both her and Blank decided to call the police department. When I looked at Blank, I could see that her face was flushed and she was shaking slightly. She was also darting her eyes around 8th Street, trying to look for this group of women. So the cop noticed that Grayson was visibly upset. Lauren, you need to let that girl go home. All right, I'm going to go grab a drink, and I will be right back in just a minute. We will finish these up. We've got 5 more. Well, we got this rest of this one and then 5 more. So hold on one second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to figure out what I was gonna get for dinner. It's almost 9 o'clock here, and I didn't plan on getting all of this information, so I did. I went and got a cold drink. So let's get back into it. All right, here we go. I was able to contact 3 of the subjects that blank spoke to me about. One of them was blank, one was Jay, and one was blank. Jay said that blank had been talking shit about her husband back in Arizona. She wanted to speak to her about it, so she contacted blank at the Maricopa County Courthouse. Blank contacted the bailiffs. The bailiffs came and spoke with Jay. She advised that the bailiff took her side and knew that she was not threatening. Jay just wanted to speak with blank about her talking badly about her husband. She advised that the bailiffs and her chuckled about the situation, but she was also advised that staying away from blank would be the best course of action. Blank showed me the video of this interaction, and I did not see anything threatening or intimidating about the contact. This is about Janeese. Remember, we saw Janeese walking up to the courthouse, and Lauren came behind her, and she was like, "Are you recording me? Are you recording me?" That was the interaction. Then Jay told me they were at the restaurant before blank arrived and that they were eating food. They had been there for approximately 2 hours before blank arrived, and she arrived as they were leaving. Jay noticed that blank was at the restaurant. However, she did not contact her. So it was Janeese's husband. She advised that her group did stay in the area, but that they had gone across the street to a restaurant to have carrot cake. She said they were not staying there to contact blank. I also spoke with blank. She advised that she did not speak with blank and blank at the restaurant bar, but was only there to speak with them about contacting L at the courthouse and just wanted to know why they had done it. She was not attempting to be confrontational or intimidating. Once they were asked to leave, she left immediately. Also advised that it has been blank who has come up to them many times and has attempted to continue to contact with them. She said it has been back and forth between the subjects and not one-sided at all. I spoke with blank, and she said that on this date she went to blank at the restaurant to speak with blank and was the one speaking with blank. Once they were asked to leave, they left, and then they went and had dessert across the street. She also reiterated that blank has contacted them several times, and it has been a back and forth conversation, not one-sided. I did not have contact information for blank, and I was not able to make contact with blank, but did advise all subjects that I spoke with that this would be put into report. I also advised all of them that they should no longer have contact with blank. I also advised blank and blank that they should no longer have contact with these subjects. Blank advised me that they had videos. I provided them with a community contact to add those videos to Axon evidence. Those videos should be added. I watched some of the videos blank provided me. While watching the videos from Arizona and the contacts from Idaho, I did not see anything that was threatening or intimidating. However, blank does feel intimidated due to the fact she's had several contacts with them and seems to be escalating in her opinion. Wow. Okay. Now we go down here to the statement. I don't know who wrote this one. This is written on 7/23. A group of women have been harassing, stalking, and cyberbullying me for months. Their names: blank, 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 blank. I am a podcast host reporter who covers criminal trials. This must be Lauren. Blank was my producer and did graphic design. We fired blank and months later sent her a cease and desist due to defamation. Something from professionals who stated things she was saying. On April 9th, 2025, inside Maricopa County, Arizona courthouse, Blank approached me about hurt feelings. She recorded me in the courthouse while there was no record order in play. Once I learned this, I requested she not share my private convos, and after numerous texts, I blocked her, and she resorted to email. I then requested Blank not to contact me again because I felt concerned for my safety and her sharing my private conversations. Email will be in evidence. Blank continued to film and approach me at the Arizona courthouse. I started recording for my safety. And one morning, as I attempted to enter the courthouse for the trial, reporting on Lori Daybell, on October 15, 2025, she approached me. I asked her to leave me alone and recorded the incident on 2 separate recordings. The bailiffs at the courthouse, God, she even wrote up the side of the page, y'all. This is like crazy. The bailiffs at the courthouse saw these videos, will add evidence, and requested Jay to stay away from me. Once I went home to Nevada, a cyberbullying campaign was launched by all women on TikTok and Instagram. Blank was the face, but she used videos and photos of the other women listed who also, oh my God, look at the bottom of this, who also commented to back up the bullying campaign. I have never responded to the incessant attacks, although painful, including suggesting I wanted to rape my dying baby brother. Oh my God. Stop it. Blank, 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 all appear and comment in internet bullying. Now at Koberger sentencing, I continue to do my work without drama or giving them air. Oh, this is getting weird. Or attention while they continue to film, harass, or get angry. If I ask for a seat at a press conference tonight while eating dinner, we started filming because I felt fearful. They approached my table, video and evidence, while something, leave us alone. Blank watched and flipped me off. Blank watched. Holy fuck. Now, who thinks that she organizes her own podcasts? Not me. Here's Grayson. Look at Grayson. Stark difference. For months, there has been a small group of girls who have been harassing my boss, Lauren, both in person and online, and following her state to state to physically approach and intimidate her. It started when Blank approached Lauren in front of the courthouse, filming her when there was a no filming rule. Audio of that has since been posted online. After that interaction, I witnessed Blank receive threatening phone calls. Then a couple days later, Jay approached Blank at the courthouse following her in because she was being threatening. The bailiffs made her stay away or they would remove her. Then Jay would continue to try to linger near Lauren. So I always stayed nearby to try to keep Jay away. If I saw her, I would just tell Blank I saw her and she would walk away because she's scared. Then in June, they launched a TikTok page. They launched a TikTok page about blank blank. Started it after Blank told her to leave her alone, never contact her again, and don't tell one crime. Also in June, blank continued to follow blank around the courthouse in Arizona. Lori Day, blank, are all involved in that TikTok. Today at court, we were looking for seats, very limited, in the press conference room at the Ada County Courthouse. Blank asked if a seat was available, and Lori started yelling at her about a cease and desist she had sent to blank. After that, blank was putting a camera up a couple feet from my face to intimidate me. I ignored, and she continued filming me outside. Then at dinner tonight, we noticed Jay filming Lauren and me. We did not know she was around prior. Blank turned her camera on, and all of the sudden, blank came up from behind, yelling at us, trying to intimidate us. The waiter came over, and we asked him to make them leave. Blank had finally walked away by then. Then they all walked to the restaurant across the street, sat there watching us to wait for us. Our waiter let us stay. I saw them there because I had walked out for a phone call and saw blank sit up and move like she was going to approach me. At this point, I am fearful for my safety. I'm fearful for Lauren's safety. They follow us state to state with one intention: to stalk us, intimidate and harass us. They are showing a clear pattern of escalation with every unwanted and unwarranted contact they make. That's the end of that one. All right, here's the next one. This one's 9 pages. Give me a second. Okay. This is Lauren Matthias, petitioner against Christina. Ex parte motion to enforce 9/4/25 civil stalking injunction and for sanctions.
I want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Gwen, for your super chat. I would love to see a handwriting analysis of that mess, too. CA, thank you. What's good for the goose, good for the gander. She makes money showing drama, and then when another channel shows her drama, she cries. Yeah, pretty much par for the course. So we have Honorable Judge Casey L. Wright, petitioner Lauren Matthias, by and through undersigned counsel, hereby files this verified ex parte motion to enforce civil stalking injunction and for sanctions pursuant to the Utah Rule of Civil Procedure 7A and states as follows. On September 4, 2025, this court issued a temporary stalking injunction against Christina, which contains specific orders prohibiting stalking behavior, contact with petitioner, and specified individuals, and requirements to stay away from petitioner's home, work, and other specified locations. Respondent has willfully and repeatedly violated multiple provisions of the CSI beginning the very same day it was served, as detailed in the second declaration of Lauren Matthias, and supporting exhibits attached hereto. This is Janeese. Hold on. We have Lauren's declaration? Damn. That's a lot to read. The matter is urgent as respondents' violations are escalating in frequency and severity, placing petitioner in immediate danger. Petitioner respectfully requests expedited review and seeks enforcement of the CSI, an order holding respondent in contempt of court and appropriate sanctions. Statement of facts. The CSI issued by the court on September 4th, 2025, specifically orders respondent to A, personal conduct order, not stalk the petitioner, including not following, threatening, annoying, or harassing the petitioner in a way that would cause a reasonable person to suffer emotional distress or fear for their safety. No contact, phone, text, mail, email, or communicate in any way with petitioner in a way that would cause, and following protected persons. The protected persons are John Matthias, Grayson, and the son who is redacted, and her immediate and extended family. V, business coworkers, employees of True Crime Podcast docuseries. Stay away from petitioner's current home or future home, her work address, petitioner's vehicle, online forums, and other social media accounts. And then right here, under V, we have Crime Con Expo. Dirty, dirty. Dirty, dirty. I'm turning off my webcam for a second. A while. Why? Okay, sorry about that. So that's where she threw in the Crime Con Expo. That's where the sneakiness comes in right there. Totally contrived, completely planned, etc., etc. Additional orders. Do not come within 500 feet of petitioner, her immediate extended family, coworkers, employees, place of business. Cease and desist any and all online activity and communications, direct or indirect, relating to or referencing petitioner, her family, coworkers, or professional associates. The CSI clearly states that violation of these orders is a criminal Class A misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail and a fine, with second or subsequent violations resulting in more severe penalties. B. Respondent's violations of the CSI. Despite being served with the CSI on September 4th, 2025, this is CrimeCon time, accepted by her husband blank, who confirmed he would inform her, respondent has engaged in multiple willful violations of the court order. A. Violation of online activity prohibition. Later the same evening she was served, respondent published posts on both TikTok blank and Instagram blank, accounts she created to target petitioner. Posted a video with lyrics, "Whoops, you messed up and then you got caught. Whoops, you messed up. Now you're crying about what you lost." Okay. Responded to a friend's comment about telling the real story with "as you wish." What? Violation of stay away order, CrimeCon Expo. Respondent traveled to and attended CrimeCon Expo, which was specifically prohibited in the CSI. Approached CrimeCon security acknowledging she was aware of the CSI, but intended to attend anyways. We observed by law enforcement walking through CrimeCon in close proximity to petitioner's location. When confronted by officers, admitted she knew about the order and that her husband had sent it to her. We saw the body cam. Was physically served again and told immediately to leave or face arrest. Additional online violations. after being removed from CrimeCon, posted 2 more videos on TikTok and Instagram. First video, mouthed audio saying, "Don't lie on me," with threatening undertones. Second video, performed lyrics from Eminem's Worms, including, "I'ma make you eat your words," a direct threat. Exhibit 24. Violation of 500-foot order, stay away. Stood just feet away from petitioner in hotel bar while holding a camera. Hey, Joe Schmo, I hope you're fucking happy with yourself. What a joke you are. I'm sorry, there's no forgiveness for that. That's fucked up. It's fucked up. Only departed after observing petitioner's producer on phone with Aurora police. Photos document respondent within feet of petitioner and producer Grayson. Exhibit 25. So from now on, Joe, we shall call you, instead of Joe Schmo, you're now Exhibit 25. Exhibit 25 is your new name. Second violation of stay away order, September the 7th. Again, came within 500 feet of petitioner and bar during lunch. Was escorted by security to restaurant directly behind petitioner. What the fuck? She called again on the 7th? Indirect harassment through third parties, September the 10th. Respondent's associate, Lori Hellis, published YouTube video discussing the CSI and using petitioner's name. Respondent commented on the video. "Thank you, Lori. Thank you," with crying emojis. Exhibit 26. Video resulted in threatening emails and comments directed at petitioner. Exhibit 27. Demonstrates respondent encouraging others to harass petitioner on her behalf. That's where she accuses Lori. These repeated and escalating violations have caused petitioner extreme fear for her safety and that of her family, demonstrating respondents' complete disregard for this court's authority and deliberate intent to continue stalking and harassing petitioner despite the active injunction. And then it says Utah civil law, the legal authority. And then they have their verified motion and supporting evidence. So the request for relief is as follows. 1, issue an order to attend hearing, required respondent to appear personally before this court to explain why she should not be held in contempt for violating the order. Find respondent in contempt of court for willfully violating the court's orders on at least 6 documented occasions between September 4th and 10th, 2025. So my question is, who documented the 6 times besides, is it TikToks, the 500 feet, all of that? Impose maximum sanctions. A fine of $1,000 each, totaling at least $6,000. Confinement in jail for the maximum 30 days. She want what? What? Oh my God. Joe Schmo, I think you were hired to do this. I think this was completely planned. Confinement in jail. They wanted her to go to jail for 30 days. Pay all of the petitioner's attorney's fees and costs. Payment of petitioner's travel and security costs necessitated by respondents' violations. Security? Oh my God. 30 days and she has an infant. Christina has an infant. They wanted the court to impose confinement for the maximum 30 days on a mother of an infant. And then make her pay all the attorney's fees and costs, travel, security. And Joe helped this. Yeah. Sick. Convert the temporary CSI to permanent. Modify the CSI to 1,000 feet. Exhibit prohibition on directing third parties to harass petitioner.
I want to say thank you.
Pay for the next round of cheek fillers. Oh my God. Thank you, Pines. Prohibition on creating any new social media accounts. Oh yeah, don't forget Megan was the videographer for Exhibities. I'm already getting notifications of nasty comments on my last video. That's cute. Keep it coming, Hidden Gems. Because it's Jay and it's justice if you're nasty. Hidden Gems. Come on, people. You got hidden something. It ain't gems. Immediately refer for criminal prosecution. Misdemeanor stalking with recommendation for enhanced penalties due to multiple violations. Issue a bench warrant if respondent fails to appear. Oh my God, thank you, Law Nerd, for your $20 super sticker. What did I miss? Oh, GPS monitoring. Oh, how did I miss that? What the fuck? Oh my God.
What?
Holy hell. She wanted to put Christina in jail, have her on a tether. I wondered why the name of this file was ankle monitor. Holy fuck. You see that? GPS monitoring if technologically feasible. What's up, Cram? I am stunned.
For making it happen. I want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki, for your super chat. 200 to go. Hit that like.
For making it happen.
Law Nerd Amber, welcome to Cooterville.
For making it happen. Thank you.
Wow. Stephanie, it's good to have you. Wow, man. Okay. I missed that one. So, 1,000 feet. No new social media. GPS monitoring. Ankle bracelet. Immediately refer for criminal prosecution. LW, that's why I love you, girl. Mandy Strong, welcome to Cooterville.
Help a brother out here.
Come on in and remember to close your legs. Okay, so then she wanted misdemeanor stalking with recommendation for enhanced penalties due to multiple violations. Issue a bench warrant if respondent fails to appear. And she's saying she's got to appear in person. In the beginning, it did. And then whatever the court deems proper to protect the petitioner from continued stalking and harassment. This is signed Monday, September 17th, 2025. The attorney is Daston Dio. Daston Dio. I'll put that in the chat. I know you guys were wondering who the lawyer was. This is insane. Okay, let's move on to the next. Oh, wait. Certificate of service. That's it. Okay. Close that one. We can close that one. Okay. This one is going to be Respondent Christina. Memorandum in opposition to request for civil stalking injunction and to the pre-hearing brief. The court should deny the requested injunction. Petitioner Lauren Matthias is a public figure with hundreds of thousands of subscribers and followers on YouTube and a variety of other platforms. Matthias uses these platforms to speak out on a range of issues, including current events, legal news, true crime, and culture. But Matthias also has a history of using various means to deprive others of the very same rights she exercises. Several individuals have been the subject of cease and desist letters or false police reports. The requested injunction is simply Matthias's latest device to shut down speech, which she disagrees. The requested injunction lacks merit under Utah's civil stalking statute. Blank has not spoken with or otherwise communicated with Matthias directly or indirectly since April of 2025, when she responded to a string of text messages from Matthias. Christina has not initiated any communication with Matthias since March of 2025, before their friendship fell out. Matthias bases the requested injunction on a tangled web of allegations regarding Matthias's own conduct and the conduct of Matthias's or other former friends and acquaintances. Matthias provides no evidence that Christina has ever asked or induced anyone to contact her for any reason, let alone to threaten her. Matthias states that she has subjectively felt fear and emotional distress, but cannot point to any threat or statement that would cause such a reaction in the reasonable person in Matthias's circumstances. Further, the requested injunction is unconstitutional. Then it goes on to say it would violate her First Amendment rights. And it says recent Utah case law makes clear that content-based restrictions on speech, even in the civil stalking context, must withstand strict scrutiny. The proposed speech restrictions in the requested injunction fall far short. Similarly, nothing in the requested injunction or supporting materials establishes that Christina acted with the requisite degree of culpability under recent U.S. Supreme Court case law. For these reasons, Christina respectfully requests that the court deny the requested injunction. Let me get a drink. Facts. Matthias relies primarily on 3 declarations in support of the requested injunction. 2 declarations from Matthias, the Matthias declarations, and a declaration from Grayson, the blank. This opposition relies upon and incorporates by reference the following declarations filed concurrently herewith, along with documents and things. Christina expects to introduce in her defense in the hearing. 1. The declaration of Christina. Declaration of blank, 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 and blank. For the sake of brevity, blank does not restate the facts from each of the foregoing declarations and instead provides a summary of the key facts as follows. 1. Matthias is a public figure with hundreds and thousands of subscribers on YouTube and tens of thousands of followers across various social media platforms. 2. Christina met Matthias in April of 2024 and maintained a friendship for several months thereafter. 3. By March 2025, the friendship had waned, and Christina did not initiate any contact with Matthias after that time. 4. In April of 2025, Christina spoke to Matthias about some of her public statements and conduct, which prompted Matthias to make a variety of accusations against and demands to Christina. Christina has not communicated directly or indirectly with Matthias since April of 2025. Around the same time, Matthias launched a series of accusations and demands against her other former friends and acquaintances, including blank, blank, and blank. Matthias also began behaving strangely towards blank and her friends, including, without limitation, blank, blank, and blank, blank, by approaching them or standing near them in public places, with the apparent intent to provoke a confrontation. Matthias sent blank and another individual a cease and desist, and contacted the police to report that blank and others were following or surveilling Matthias and her employee Grayson, when in fact it was Matthias and Grayson that were following them. 9. Christina was not present for the encounters between Matthias, blank, and others in June and July of 2025. 10. At no time did blank encourage or suggest that blank, 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 or any other person contact or approach Matthias. 11. Christina's social media posts and public comments since April have not been directed at Matthias and were not intended to communicate with Matthias directly or indirectly. Rather, Christina was addressing her social media subscribers' followers about topics of public interest in the true crime community, including Matthias' statements and conduct. Matthias has maintained her social media presence and continues to engage in public discussion by posting or streaming hundreds of videos since April of 2025. Matthias has used Christina's public statements as a pretext for quashing her speech and removing her from public events such as CrimeCon, which took place between September 5th and 7th in Denver, Colorado. 15. Matthias has misrepresented the events at CrimeCon in an attempt to secure the requested injunction and accused Christina of violating the temporary order. Argument. Stalking consists of two elements. The respondent must intentionally or knowingly engage in a course of conduct directed at the petitioner, and 2, the respondent must know or act with reckless regarding the course of conduct that would cause a reasonable person to fear for the person's own safety or suffer other emotional distress. Emotional distress is defined as significant mental or psychological suffering. Both elements must be present before a district court may issue a civil stalking injunction. Now let's break that down for a second and let's think about who Lauren was having testify as, or thought she was going to have testify as her expert witness. Her husband. Did she really think that she was going to be able to bring Dr. John and he could just testify to her emotional distress? That she didn't really need to seek out a doctor and actually go through seeing a psychiatrist or a psychologist. That is insane. That is weird. Here, Matthias cannot prove either element to justify the requested injunction. Further, the Utah Court of Appeals recently reiterated that the First Amendment cabins the court's ability to issue a civil stalking injunction to only specific parameters. Content-based restrictions are presumptively unconstitutional and subject to strict scrutiny. Welcome to Cooterville, the boss lady. Good to have you. The requested injunction seeks content-based restrictions on speech and cannot withstand strict scrutiny. The rejected injunction is unconstitutional. A. Matthias cannot show she is entitled to the requested injunction under the stalking statute. I'm not reading the statute. Matthias fails to prove a course of conduct. Matthias's declarations recite only 2 instances where Christina communicated specifically with her. In both instances, Matthias initiated the conversation. First, at the Maricopa County Courthouse, Matthias approached and greeted blank. Immediately after, Matthias insisted that blank participate in a lengthy conversation about Matthias's past statements and conduct. Later in the month, Matthias again initiated contact with Christina, this time by text, to make accusations and demands upon Christina. As before, Christina reluctantly participated in the exchange.
Creep town, dude.
Thank you so much for making it easier to understand the freedom of speech in America. Not every country has the freedom to speak as you have. Stand strong for your rechts.
Thank you so much, Barbara Hall, for the czar. And thank you for being here. Free speech is a very, very important right in this country. And when people use the court systems to try to take that away, it's a big deal. It's a serious thing. Thank you so much again, Barb. So again, she did not participate. Okay. Indeed, Christina made no attempt to communicate specifically with Matthias, directly or indirectly, after the April text where Matthias stated she did not wish to be contacted. Because Matthias cannot point to specific communications directed at Matthias, she attempts to rely on many unrelated and irrelevant statements by others' conduct, and Christina's online posts and public statements. The problem is none of these satisfy the definition of course of conduct because none of them are directed or at or towards Matthias specifically. Statements and conduct by blank, blank, and blank. The Matthias declarations and blank declaration spend considerable time detailing statements and conduct of blank, blank, and blank. Blank, blank, and blank refute Matthias and Grayson's allegations in their declarations. But even if the allegations are true, they are not. What is noticeably absent is any proof that Christina engaged in or influenced any of these events. In some instances, she learned about them afterwards and discussed them publicly later. That is not enough to show course of conduct. Online posts and public comments. The stalking statute is clear that an act or statement does not meet the definition of course of conduct unless it is directed at a specific individual. Matthias asked the court to parse the contents of Christina's online posts and infer that Christina intended Matthias to see them. Such an exercise is impermissible under the stalking statute and problematic under the First Amendment as discussed below. And even if it were appropriate to extrapolate, I don't know if I'm saying that right, extrapolate, I don't know, Christina's intent from the content of her post, the post that Matthias references, show that Christina is not attempting to specifically address Matthias or Grayson. The posts are clearly public commentary directed at the public generally. Matthias fails to prove course of conduct. 2. Matthias cannot show that reasonable person in her circumstances would experience fear or emotional distress. So it goes through here, the laws. It says here Matthias cannot show that Christina knew or acted recklessly in such a way that the reasonable person in Matthias' circumstances would experience fear or emotional distress. Thank you, Italy. Matthias is a public figure who continually exercises her right to speak publicly about her life, her friends, and a variety of topics. Knowing this, Christina had no reason to expect that Matthias would attempt to quash Christina, much less through 2 false police reports and this proceeding. Further, the Bard factors all weigh strongly against finding that a reasonable person under these circumstances would experience fear or emotional distress. As discussed above, Matthias's background as a public figure, quote, ex-reporter and social commentator, certainly subjects her to public scrutiny. It is simply not reasonable that Matthias would expect to continually engage in public discussion, including negative statements about individuals, without encountering speech she disagrees with and does not like. Similarly, the only instances Matthias identifies where Christina communicated with her directly or indirectly related to negative statements and conduct towards Christina and others. Matthias has no reasonable basis to expect that a friend or former friend would not discuss interpersonal issues with her, especially whereas here, Matthias initiated the communication every time. Matthias attempts to turn her falling out with Christina into an injunction with real implications for Christina's civil rights. That is not the purpose of a stalking statute. The cumulative effect of Christina's alleged conduct does not warrant the requested injunction. As discussed above, with no real course of conduct to support her request, Matthias unleashes a torrent of unrelated allegations about others' conduct and Christina's protected First Amendment activity. All of that does not count under the stalking statute, Bard, and other cases. The degree of culpability required prevents the court from counting events that Christina learned about only later. For example, Matthias has no good faith basis to claim that Christina intended or acted recklessly with respect to incidents in Boise when Christina was in Europe and learned about only after the fact. Christina was in Europe, y'all, when the Boise police report was filed. She wasn't even in this country. A number of other factors not specifically enumerated in Bard also weigh strongly against the requested injunction. First, Matthias already submitted 2 police reports with the same sort of misrepresentations currently before the court. In each instance, the police did not substantiate Matthias's claims. Secondly, nearly all the statements and conduct that Matthias references occurred in public places or online. Matthias claims that they interfered in her quote-unquote work. But Christina and others also work in the true crime space or have been regular attendees of trials, press conferences, and conventions. blank, 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 and blank have just as much right to be in the public places and participate in public events as Matthias. This is not a situation where Christina has accosted Matthias at home or any other public space. Third, Matthias's own conduct cuts strongly against any notion that she feared for her safety. Matthias and Grayson repeatedly approached, confronted, or attempted to confront blank, 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 and others. Not only does this contradict Matthias's testimony that she subjectively feared these individuals or was distressed, but a reasonable person in her circumstances would not engage in the conduct that Matthias has engaged in. Thank you so much, Ishi.
For making it happen. I want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Relatedly, Matthias makes no attempt to connect the dots between Christina's alleged statements and conduct and the extreme subjective reaction Matthias alleges. In sum, Matthias fails to show requisite mental state, causation, or objectively reasonable fear or emotional distress. Ugh, tripping over my words. The requested injunction is unconstitutional. So now they go over all this law. I'm not reading all of that. Okay, personal conduct. This section requests an order commanding Christina to not stalk Matthias, and then recites and references the statutory definition of stalking. This provision is problematic for three main reasons. First, as a practical matter, it is vague, unenforceable, and redundant of other provisions. Utah law already prohibits stalking, and there would be no way to enforce the order without resort to the courts. The parties are attending the hearing to determine if stalking has occurred. There is no reason to enter an order that requires the court to do the exact same thing anytime Matthias believes Christina is stalking her. This is especially true since it's not clear what the personal conduct order adds apart from the other provisions. Second, the issuance of the requested injunction in any form would impose on Christina's civil rights and violate the First Amendment because Matthias relies on Christina's protected speech to establish stalking. Basically, Matthias is asking the court to agree with Matthias's public speech and disagree with Christina's. Such a restriction would be content-based because it is justified only with resort to Christina, message with the court adopting Matthias's viewpoint, punishing Christina, in essence, removing an entire topic, Matthias's own statements and conduct, from public discussion.
For making it happen. I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Maggie Marie, for the worms.
Thank you.
Christina, what does he look like? Wow, CA, thank you so much. Thank you for the 50.
I don't understand how she dares call herself a journalist when all she does is peddle fake empathy and real manipulation for clicks.
I agree with that. Thank you so much. That's very generous of you. I appreciate that. And good to see you, Flo. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the support. I appreciate that. It's very generous. Okay, where were we? Okay, here we go. There is no compelling government interest in favoring one speaker over another, and a broad, so broad as to be meaningless restriction on stalking is far from being narrowly tailored enough to withstand strict scrutiny. Third, the personal conduct order in the requested injunction mirrors almost exactly the one the Utah Court of Appeals reviewed in Ragsdale 2. Then he goes in to that. Now we're going to go down here to no contact. Matthias asked the court to bar Christina from communicating directly or indirectly with Matthias and others. But this section must be read in conjunction with the other assistance needed. Section where Matthias asked the court to order Christina to cease and desist any and all activity, online and communications, direct or indirect. Again, this restriction is content-based because it purports to quash speech on an entire topic. Okay, I'm going to go here. Stay away order. Matthias asked for an order that Christina stay away from Matthias's home, work, school, and vehicle. But as with the no contact order, Matthias modifies the form language and requests that an order that Christina must stay away from online forums and other social media accounts. This extra requirement is problematic on multiple levels. First, the restriction is content-based and cannot withstand strict scrutiny. On its face, the restriction appears to ban Christina from the internet. In one swath, Matthias hopes the court will eliminate Christina's ability to frequent all online public spaces. This ask alone unmasks Matthias's goal of eliminating Christina's ability to speak out on issues of public interest. The ban would be akin to allowing Matthias a popular pulpit in a public park while prohibiting others who disagree with her from the same public spaces. The First Amendment squarely forecloses this sort of preference. This is really good, huh? Second, to the extent that Matthias's request is meant to be interpreted more narrowly, it is unconstitutionally vague because it does not put Christina on notice of the extent of her ban. So if we go down here, conclusion. Matthias is allowed to not like what Christina has said about her, but Matthias falls far short of the statutory elements required under the stalking statute. And Christina's right to free speech forecloses the requested injunction. Christina respectfully requests that the court deny the requested injunction. And then it's dated this 19th day of September, 2025 by James C. Dunkelberger. Applause, applause, applause. Oh, wow. I know a lot of you guys are in here and you're feeling duped. You know, I hate that. I hate that. Let me come on here. I hate that. I hate that people get duped by people on this platform. Ugh, it's sick, right? But we are pro Dunkenberger because I think that they're exposing all the shit, right? She did expose herself. An elephant in the room. It's so transparent that it makes you wonder, did she do it on purpose? Is this some kind of weird, does she have like I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you could go from this that it would be good, but like, oh, to him, she's a trophy wife. Have you seen him? I don't know. Because it's almost so obvious that it's transparent. But then again, stranger things have happened. Lazy Wolf thinks it's the text. I know Christina hasn't said a thing since October 10th. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, the next one is going to be Christina's declaration. Are y'all ready for this? Let's see, how many pages is that? 9, 8. Okay, Christina's is the longest one. So this is the declaration of Christina. Okay, she's over the age of 18, personal knowledge, and the civil stalking petition filed by Lauren Matthias. Background. I met Matthias in April of 2024. Matthias holds herself out as an ex-reporter, journalist, and podcaster, dealing primarily with true crime cases. She's a public figure. She and her husband run a YouTube channel that has approximately 317,000 subscribers. Her Insta has over 20,000 and TikTok over 56,000. For several months, I communicated regularly with Matthias, and we became friends. Throughout that time period, I noticed certain red flags that suggested Matthias's credentials and public image were inaccurate. For example, Matthias would describe me interpersonal problems with their friends and in-laws based on accusations of theft and fraud. Ooh, yikes. I also learned information that caused me to question Matthias's ethics in obtaining and handling confidential information. During this time period, multiple people expressed concern about Matthias's conduct. At approximately the same time I became friends with Matthias, I also became friends with blank and blank, who had been friends with Matthias for a year prior. I also became friends with other women who were acquaintances of Matthias, including blank. I communicated with and was invited to events with Matthias from April of 2024 to the winter of 2024. Matthias also invited me to her house while I was on a work trip in blank. Matthias also invited me and my family to her home to swim in her pool when we were driving from blank. My friendship with Matthias ends. Matthias asked me to perform some graphic design work for her and or her husband's businesses, which I did at a significant discount given our friendship. By January of 25, my friendship with Matthias was beginning to wane, and we communicated less frequently. I sent Matthias a final invoice in March of 2025 for the graphic design work. A copy of the invoice and correspondence related to my rate is expected to be offered in my defense as Exhibit D1. By that point, I was no longer communicating on a regular basis with Lauren or spending time with her as a friend. On April 9th, I saw Lauren at the courthouse in Maricopa County, Arizona, after Lauren called out to me to get my attention. Now, April 9th was when those texts went out, y'all. There's the April 9th. Yeah, the free work. She does not work at the courthouse. She does not work there. The same date she had cease and desist. Thank you, Barbara.
I want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you.
Barbara says, may I ask why adults speak about adult conversations in front of children? I ask this with respect, as I feel the parents are then placing a lot on a child's shoulders. 100%. We have that question too, Barbara. Matthias ran towards me, calling my name with her arms out, signaling she wanted a hug. While hugging Matthias, I stated that I had read some of the negative statements she made about me and others, and that I had seen evidence of her efforts to harm others and their businesses. Lauren insisted that we talk right then and there, even though I was hesitant, because Matthias appeared to be in an elevated fight, flight, freeze state. Matthias stated that we needed to talk immediately because she wanted to be alone and her assistant Grayson never leaves her side. I'm sure that's not the only thing she's said about Grayson. Wake up, Grayson. Wake up. Things aren't going to get any better, Grayson. Okay, where was I? I'm reading your comments. I got to stop doing that. During that conversation, Matthias acknowledged that some of the negative statements that I had seen were true and then attempted to justify them. Because Matthias does not always accurately represent verbal conversations, I recorded the conversation. Oh, zoinkies. Oh, fuck. So this whole thing's recorded. Oh, Akira, thank you for your super chat. Does Laura not know about FOIAs? What the fuck was she thinking? After our friendship ended, Matthias initiated repeated contact with me to make accusations I knew to be false and demand I stop speaking about her, even with mutual acquaintances. Wow, you are a fucking entitled one, girl. After Matthias's initial contact, I exchanged several texts with her on April 21st to 22nd, 2025, regarding her accusations and demands. The texts are expected to be offered in my defense as Exhibit D2. Matthias blocked and unblocked me multiple times so she could state her demands and accusations without allowing me any response. Matthias's last text was on April 22nd. It again made false accusations about my conduct and demanded that I refrain from speaking publicly about her. I have not initiated contact with Matthias since March 12th, when I contacted her for a referral from my neighbor. I have not communicated with Matthias directly or indirectly since April 21st. However, Matthias unblocked me in August 2025 to remove things from one of our conversations, and I received an alert she had done so. Remember the text said, "You unsent a message"? Lauren went back through her fucking texts and unsent certain things. She unblocked Christina. So tell me that the 60 hours that Grayson sat through reading were not already altered and deleted and unsent. Get the fuck out of here. Your shit's going to need a Celebrate dump at this point. You have fabricated and manufactured shit. So they're going to need to do a Celebrate dump on your phone. Wow, this is wild. I don't think I've ever encountered someone this, like, calculated. Like, just being a fucking YouTuber. Reporting on true crime.
Town, dude.
Thank you so much, Barbara Hall, for another czar. Love from South Africa to our American friends and family from our beautiful country. We love you there in South Africa. Absolutely we do. It is beautiful there. Jealous of that. Also, on June 5th, 2025, I traveled to Arizona to attend a portion of the Lori Daybell trial. I was in Arizona for only 24 hours. Really, Glass? While seated between blank and another friend in the waiting area, I saw Matthias wave at me in an attempt to engage. I ignored her and did not respond. This was another example of Matthias initiating contact with me, not the other way around. Grayson tried to call me twice on June 10th. Wow. Wow, so she had Grayson trying to call Christina? It's an exhibity, y'all. Matthias, what were you thinking, girl? Grayson tried to call me twice on June 10th, but I did not answer or return the call. An image depicting the missed calls is expected to be offered in my defense in Exhibit D3. Sounds to me like Lauren was stalking via third party on her. Oh, shit. Here comes more. Here's Exhibit D4. Grayson also sent me a lengthy text message saying that she felt sad that I had my feelings hurt and wanted to have a private conversation. I did not respond. A copy of those texts is expected to be offered in my defense as Exhibit D4. Grayson. You know what, Lauren? You should have written, like, movie scripts. You are fucking out there, girl. Out there. Like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Holy shiznuts. Matthias's conduct towards others. Since April of 2025, I have learned of multiple instances where Matthias has behaved strangely and obsessively towards my friends who were also former friends of hers. On April 11th, 2025, Lauren sent blank a cease and desist containing numerous demands aimed at curbing free speech. The cease and desist is Exhibit D5. Now, this is evidence. Notwithstanding the cease and desist, Matthias has taken purposeful steps to contact and communicate with blank. Blank describes these in details in her declaration submitted concurrently herewith. Thank you, Lizbeth. Emotional manipulation is abuse, especially toward a much younger woman who obviously looks up to her. Agree 1,000%. 1,000%. And then there's a footnote. It says Matthias sent a similar letter to another mutual acquaintance. The Matthias declaration describes 2 alleged instances in Boise involving blank, blank, and others. I was in Europe when these occurred, and I learned about them only later. Blank, blank, and blank recount what occurred in their declarations submitted concurrently herewith. Oh, do we have the exhibits? I don't know. Let me see. I don't think so. No. No exhibitties. Okay. Now we're on this. Okay, then we have, I have since received the Boise Police Department report, which we just read, along with copies of the videos Matthias submitted to the Boise police. Some of the videos were my posts online, even though I was not in Boise when the alleged incidents occurred. In the report, the officer stated that Lauren provided me with videos of 2 different incidents, including the incident at Bitter Creek Ale House. I did not see any intimidating or threatening behavior in these videos. At no point did I ask, encourage, or facilitate any of my friends or anyone else to contact her. Indeed, in a majority of instances, Matthias herself provoked the encounter with me in and before April and recently at CrimeCon. And my friends, Matthias and Grayson, have engaged in a pattern of entering spaces where I already am. Matthias's efforts to prevent public discourse, as evident from her declaration and Grayson's, Lauren's main issue is with public statements that I have allegedly made about Matthias. Dude. Thank you, CA. This is your brain on Botox. For real. Thank you so much. Matthias mischaracterizes many of these statements or describes them vaguely to misconstrue them or present them out of context. For example, Matthias alleges that I mocked a police officer when, in fact, I merely pointed out inaccuracies in what the officer told me, as is my right. A recording of my post is expected to be offered as Exhibit D6. Matthias omits any discussion of the context of that video, which was that I was contacted by the blank police department after Matthias contacted police in June of 2025. Now, mind you, Grayson started texting her in June. Right? Look at these dates. Called the police on her in June. Had Grayson reaching out in June. What a bunch of bullshit. After Matthias contacted police in June to report that I and others were sharing private communications we had with Matthias, I expect to offer in my defense a copy of the blank police report as D7, in which the officer states that she did not find extortion, and no text messages were intercepted, and Matthias's private messages were not hacked. The Matthias declaration describes my public comments as targeted and aimed at trying to get people to identify who I am, to come after me. This is not true. Matthias also alleges that I posted an emoji on a podcast she participated in to, quote, let people know I was watching. The podcast was live and open to public comments. This is very important. This also goes to Beach. Anybody can come in your chat and comment. It's not, you can't do anything about that. It's free speech on a public platform. That's like going into a bar and telling someone they can't talk in there. You can't do that. It's insane that these people think, oh, if they come in my chat, they're harassing me. What? God. And she left emojis? Ooh. God. Read into things much? As Matthias's declaration seems to acknowledge, I did not post the emoji to communicate with Matthias, but to sign in and participate in the public chat. An image of the emoji is I fucking love this. I love this right here. Snazzy, thank you so much for 10 gifted. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Welcome in new members. Dude, look at this part. An image of the emoji is expected to be offered in my defense as Exhibit D8. Dude, I got to know what emoji it is. I've got to know what fucking emoji. Emoji has made it as an exhibity. I think they were actually crying faces. Oh, it was the eyes? Was it really? It was the eyes. Like, hey, I'm here. I always feel like somebody's watching me. As the Matthias declarations demonstrate, Matthias takes issue with any public post that I make about or related to her, and any effort I make to investigate and or report on issues of public interest relating to her. Some of my online content provides information about Matthias to the general public. My statements are not directed at Matthias, Grayson, or her family. I believe that Matthias's goal is to quash my efforts to investigate and report truth and exercise my free speech rights under the First Amendment. For example, Matthias often makes claims regarding her husband's credentials as a psychologist, an adjunct professor at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. However, I learned that UNLV has no record of Matthias's husband serving as an adjunct professor, which Matthias appears to acknowledge in her declaration. I created a video discussing this issue and posted it for public information. She put the shit about John in here too. I also believe that Matthias is attempting to prevent me from attending public events, such as criminal proceedings and true crime conventions. Matthias is attempting to use this action to further her goal. Through this action, Matthias had me removed from CrimeCon in Denver. On the weekend starting Friday, September 5th, 2025, I purchased my ticket in June of 2024 for approximately $1,800. That's a lot. At the time, I was regularly in communication with friends in Matthias. She was aware I purchased the ticket, and she said she had no plans to attend. As recently of June of 2025, Blank overheard Grayson tell a friend that Matthias said she did not have plans to attend CrimeCon. June, there's June again. Grayson's trying to reach out to Christina. The police report is filed. And Lauren is saying she did not plan on going to CrimeCon. Unbeknownst to me, blank, blank, and blank, Matthias changed her mind and attended CrimeCon, knowing that I would be in attendance with blank, blank, and blank. I later learned that Matthias announced her plans publicly on a live stream. A video of the announcement is expected to be offered in my defense as Exhibit D9. She's got a video of her saying that she decided to go. Wow. I wasn't going to go, but now I'm going, people. That's crazy. This is crazy. Matthias was not a speaker and did not have a booth at CrimeCon. She purchased a day pass, and CrimeCon was not a work event for Matthias, as she stated in her second declaration. I arrived in Denver for CrimeCon and checked into the hotel on September 3rd, 2025. On September 5th, I was headed to one of the CrimeCon panels and was approached by the police. The police gave me the temporary injunction and told me to remain in the hotel and not attend any of the CrimeCon events. The police told me specifically where I could and could not go. The police explained to me I was permitted to remain in the hotel and access all areas of the hotel, except I was not allowed to go beyond the designated CrimeCon signage or into CrimeCon events. I asked about the hotel bar, and they told me I could be there so long as it was not the CrimeCon convention and I was not approaching within 500 feet of Lauren. The audio of this conversation is expected to be offered as Exhibit D10. That night, I was in the hotel bar taking a picture for blank of her employer. Prior to arriving at the bar, one of my friends confirmed that Matthias was not in the bar. After being in the bar for several hours, a friend notified me that Matthias had entered the bar. I immediately wrapped up what I was doing and left. I did not intentionally stand close to Matthias or Grayson, as Matthias alleged in the second declaration. Rather, they entered my space. On September 6, 2025, I was again in the bar in the hotel's restaurant when Matthias appeared because she, quote, wanted to come to the bar. She called the police and had me removed from the bar. During my conversation with police, Matthias and Grayson walked right by us, which is inconsistent with her claim that she was afraid of me. In other words, after serving me an order that prevented me from being within 500 feet of her, Matthias purposely entered that space to force an encounter, just as she had done the prior day, and to blank following the cease and desist letter. On September 7th, 2025, I was having lunch in one of the hotel restaurants. So we've got Friday, Saturday, now we're on Sunday of CrimeCon. I left with another individual blank and walked across the center courtyard between restaurants. I saw Matthias and immediately left the area with blank. At no point did I attempt to approach or communicate with her. The same weekend as CrimeCon, I posted 3 videos that I had created long before receiving the injunction. The videos are not posted as to a targeted account, as Matthias claims, nor were they directed at her and were not threatening, defamatory, or harassing. I did not believe the injunction restricted my ability to post public commentary. Matthias' alleged fear and emotional distress. I have never threatened or caused anyone to threaten Matthias, her husband, or her coworkers. During the time I was friends with her, I observed and learned many things about Matthias' mental and emotional health. I personally observed signs that Matthias was anxious, depressed, and otherwise mentally and emotionally unwell. This leads me to question many of the statements she makes regarding her mental and emotional health in the Matthias declarations, or at a minimum, the cause of the mental and emotional health problems. Similarly, the Grayson declaration claims that Grayson needed anxiety medication to manage the effects that Christina was causing, when I know from personal interactions with Grayson that she had received mental health treatment, including medications, well before the issues alleged in the declaration. Holy shit. This is crazy, yo. This is fucking crazy, yo. I did not cause, nor is it reasonable for Lauren or Grayson to claim I caused any of the issues they allege by exercising my freedom of speech and addressing the public about matters of public interest. I am not obsessed with Matthias, as she claims. I have simply responded when she has involved me or when she has made false or misleading public statements. I believe that Matthias is singularly fixated on preventing me from engaging in public discourse regarding any information about or even related to her, and that Matthias deems hurtful or harmful. None of my public posts show Matthias's face, use her name, or encourage others to contact her. I express my opinion on matters of public concern and of interest to my subscribers, followers, and friends. Lauren and Grayson have both engaged in conduct towards me, blank and blank and blank, and others that strongly contradicts their testimony, such as reaching out to me by phone, taking purposeful steps to put herself in the same location and physical proximity to us. Matthias's public posts also contradict her and Grayson's testimony that Matthias and Grayson have experienced fear or emotional distress. For example, while the Matthias declarations state that she was incapacitated by fear for months, she was actively creating, publishing, and promoting content on podcasts and social media during that same time period. Matthias has published live content over 100 times since April 9th, 2025. She has posted hundreds of pre-recorded videos and or podcast episodes during the same time period across the various platforms she uses. On July 6, 2025, Matthias and her husband posted a hidden true crime podcast episode called Cults and Conformity, in which they discuss a variety of topics, including interpersonal relationships, the nature of cults and communities, family dynamics, conformity, cyberbullying, and AI regulation. Multiple times in the episode, Matthias mentions how she has always liked, quote, chaos, though not, quote, necessarily the kind of chaos that hurts people. Lauren also describes how she does not like conformity, and for that reason, many people do not like her. Matthias's husband casually mentioned that their company had experienced, quote, growing pains due to negative interactions with the public. The episode contains no indication that Matthias was afraid, distressed, or panicking, which directly contradicts Matthias's and Grayson's testimony that they were unable to function in daily life and that the situation has persisted for 4 months. It also contradicts Grayson's testimony that Lauren's husband, a licensed psychologist, purportedly the very next morning confided in Grayson that Matthias was suicidal and rocking in bed just hours after posting the episode. Around the same time, Lauren also appeared on an episode of the Mormon Stories podcast where she shared her thoughts and personal details about her life. Again, this contradicts Lauren and Grayson's testimony that she was living in fear and unable to function. Instead, it illustrates how Lauren is using this proceeding as an attempt to quash legitimate public discourse on topics and issues that she has spoken about in various media. More recently, on August 2nd, 2025, Matthias appeared on the Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo podcast, where she announced that she would attend CrimeCon and discussed numerous other topics. To date, the episode has over 12,000 views and approximately 250 comments. And then she declares under perjury. Christina, signed Christina. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking here? Let me see some of your comments. Hey, Lana Kay. I mean, this is a declaration. This isn't Lauren sitting in front of a camera telling you to believe her and trust you. because she's her. You think so, Amber? Yeah, Christina's been treated awfully. Followed around. Pictures taken of her. This lady wanting her to go to jail for 30 days when she has an infant at home. For what? This is all sick. All right, we've got 2 more documents, and then I am going to get up on out of here. We've been live all fucking day. Okay, this is the next one. This is the declaration. Wait a second. Didn't we just read this? Oh, wait, who is... Oh, okay, I saw this and thought it was Christina's again. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so we have Janeese and we have Christina. And let me see something because I don't think the name is... I gotta see this. There's a name that's not redacted over here and I don't want to... Hang on, I gotta figure out how to do this. I just don't want to show anybody's names. Especially last names. Saying Janeese or I'm not a professional redactor, so don't fucking laugh at me when you see this. I just want to make sure her name's not anywhere else in this document. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, no, we're good. All right. Okay, so this is going to be... I don't know who. Do you guys know who this would be? Declaration of L. Would this be Lindsay? I think this is Lindsay. Okay, so this is Lindsay. We're going to find out. I met Christina in April of 2024. I met Lauren in April of 2023. We were acquaintances and later became friends. I have also known Grayson for several years and previously worked with her. After May of 2024, I attended various events that Blank and Matthias also attend, including court proceedings, press conferences, and other public gatherings. My friend Blank and another friend Blank also attended many of the same events. My friendships with Matthias and Blank and others in our circle continued through the end of 2024. In January of 2025, I sent Matthias 2 text messages in an attempt to schedule a podcast collaboration with my current employer. We heard this in the audio. We heard this in the audio. Our text conversation was friendly and professional. The next time I saw Matthias in person was in April 2025 in Phoenix, when I attended portions of Lori Daybell's trial at the Maricopa County Courthouse. We greeted each other in line to enter the courthouse and had a brief conversation. I was at the trial for work, and I did not interact with Lauren at all during the remainder of my time in Phoenix. I later learned that early in the week of April 7th, 2025, Blank had a conversation with Matthias to discuss some of her statements about Christina. Then on April 11th, Lauren sent me a cease and desist, which made various accusations against me and demanded I cease speaking publicly about Matthias. The C&D accused me of actions I did not commit and did not present proof of her accusations. Thank you, JC, for 5 months. I appreciate your support. I believe the cease and desist was sent to threaten and intimidate me into silence because of my friendship with Christina. In April or May of 2025, I learned that Lauren made false claims that people were hacking her iCloud and extorting her. We read the police report. We saw it. At some point in June of 2025, I became aware that Lauren had called police regarding at least 2 of my friends, including Christina. Following the C&D, I have been present at many of the same public locations and events as Lauren due to my job. At no point have I videotaped, recorded, approached, talked to, or spoken publicly about Lauren. In fact, I have deliberately tried to stay away from Lauren and avoid even looking at her when we're in the same general location. Wesley, welcome to Cooterville. Thank you for joining.
Y'all welcome to Cooterville. Come on in and remember, close your legs.
Thank you so much. Thank you, moderators, for being here too. I really appreciate your time. That was Lauren, Autumn. The same cannot be said for Matthias. Instead, on several occasions since I received the C&D, Lauren and Grayson have intentionally positioned themselves very close to me in public, sitting beside me, sitting behind me, or standing next to me. At one point, Grayson appeared to be trying to read the screen on the device I was using. But we have Grayson saying she shoved the phone in her face, remember? In the police report. Which they wanted to enter as evidence at the hearing, but didn't have a cop there to testify. Thanks, Kels. Each time they positioned themselves near me, it was unnerving and unsettling, and I believe the conduct was intended to intimidate. Lauren and Grayson's conduct persisted throughout April and June of 2025 whenever we were in the same public places. Christina was not present for any of these events. Welcome in, newbies. Can't scare, good to see you. You're cute. Got a lot of nice people that have joined in the last week. Matthias attempts multiple times to spark a conversation with me in Boise. In July of 2025, I was on a work trip in Boise, Idaho, where I attended Brian Koberger's sentencing during the week of July 21st, 2025. While outside the courthouse, sitting under a media tent with blank, Matthias and Grayson walked into my immediate vicinity and remained there, approximately 4 feet from me and blank. Later, I attended a press conference along with blank and blank. Blank and I were saving a seat for blank when Lauren and Grayson entered the venue. Lauren approached the area where I was sitting and asked aloud if there was an open seat. One of my other friends told Lauren that there was not a seat available. Lauren then addressed me directly and asked if the seat between me and blank was available. I did not respond to Lauren due to the prior cease and desist, as well as her attempts to weaponize the police with false hacking and extortion against my friends. No, Grayson is not married. Blank briefly spoke to Matthias to tell her that she did not feel that it was appropriate for Matthias to speak or sit by me given the C&D. That's the video where we hear, you sent her a C&D. Like, don't talk to her. At that point, Grayson and Lauren crossed to the other side of the venue and easily found a seat, which made it obvious that there was no reason for Lauren to try to engage with me. Then, for no apparent reason, Matthias sent Grayson back across to our side of the venue. She always sends Grayson, doesn't she? Grayson came and stood right next to me and my group who were seated. Later that night, I went with blank, and others to my favorite restaurant in Boise, Bitter Creek Ale House. Lauren knew that was my favorite restaurant based on past statements I made to her. We dined for approximately 2 hours before leaving to go get dessert at a different restaurant across the street. Thanks, Lisa. While some members of our group were in the restroom, we learned that Lauren and Grayson had arrived at the restaurant and positioned themselves in the outside dining area near the exit. Bitter Creek Ale House is a small, seat-yourself restaurant. So Matthias' decision to sit there confused and frustrated me. I believe that Matthias and Grayson sat there deliberately to harass and provoke a confrontation. As we left, Blank again briefly spoke to Lauren and expressed her view that it was inappropriate for her to continue to try to contact or provoke an encounter with me given the C&D. We then crossed the street for dessert as previously planned. At no point did we attempt to further engage with Lauren. I was experiencing significant anxiety due to Lauren's continual attempts to contact me and had no desire to have any contact with Lauren. Days later, I learned that Lauren and Grayson had called the police and filed a stalking report concerning me and my friends. Now, mind you, Christina wasn't even there. Blank was not with us either during these events in Boise and was in fact out of the country. Christina did not suggest, ask, or otherwise prompt us to interact with Matthias at any of these events following the C&D or at any other time. Rather, it was Lauren and Grayson who initiated the contact. Lauren's conduct continues to present. Christina and I purchased tickets last summer for CrimeCon in Denver, which took place September 5th through 7th. Lauren was aware we purchased tickets, but we did not purchase them at the same time. As recently as June of 25, while in Phoenix, Grayson walked up to the area I was sitting and began a conversation with one of my friends who was sitting right next to me. In this conversation, I overheard Grayson state that neither her nor Lauren had plans to attend CrimeCon. Even though I had purchased a ticket to CrimeCon as an attendee, my trip also functioned as a work trip because my employer was scheduled to speak at 2 different panels. Matthias was not a speaker, presenter, or a registered creator with a CrimeCon booth. This can be verified through CrimeCon. So whoever Lindsey is working for was speaking at CrimeCon. Who does she work for? I wonder who that is. Nevertheless, Lauren and Grayson attended CrimeCon as attendees and continued their pattern of entering my space and trying to provoke a confrontation. I arrived in Denver on September 3rd. Christina had already checked into the hotel where we all were staying. On September 4th, I was with Christina when she informed me that her husband told her the police came to their home with a stalking injunction from Lauren. On September 5th, I was in the hotel bar with Blank, setting up a table, an area where my employer wanted to record a podcast. That evening, Matthias and Grayson appeared in the hotel bar and repeatedly placed themselves within a 5-foot radius of me for a sustained period of time. At one point, Grayson came to the table where I was and stood approximately 2 feet away from me. I thought Matthias and Grayson's conduct was strange, since Matthias had listed me as an accomplice on her request for a stalking injunction. A similar situation occurred the following day at the hotel bar. A retired Orange County Police Department officer approached me in the bar and warned me that it looked like someone was following me. The retired officer pointed out the person, and it was Grayson. Oh, what? What? Wow. A retired Orange County Police Department officer approached me in the bar that night and warned me that it looked like someone was following me. The retired officer pointed the person out, and it was Grayson. I believe that Grayson and Lauren purposely engaged in this conduct to intimidate and harass me. Alleged fear of emotional distress. I dispute all the allegations regarding Christina's online posts and their alleged impact on Lauren, her husband, and Grayson. It is not clear to me what posts and public comments Lauren and Grayson referenced in their declarations. However, I've listened to and reviewed a significant amount of Christina's content, some of which is about Matthias. The content does not threaten, defame, or harass Lauren. Christina does not purport to address Lauren indirectly or directly. Rather, Christina is engaging in public discourse regarding topics of interest in the true crime community. You think it's Banfield? Thank you, Akira.
For making it happen.
Which at times includes Matthias and Matthias's conduct and public statements. Matthias has spoken publicly on many aspects of her personal life, her purported credentials, and a variety of true crime related topics. From what I know of Matthias and Grayson, based on their public statements and the time I've spent with them, I do not believe they have suffered the adverse effects they describe in their declarations. I also do not believe that it would be reasonable for a public figure like Matthias, who is outspoken on many issues, to experience fear or emotional distress from others exercising their right to public discussion on issues of general interest. Thank you, Nikki. There are pictures of Lauren with a general admission pass and pictures with a speaker pass. Interesting. I believe, based on my personal experience with the C&D and subsequent events, that Lauren is attempting to intimidate me and now Christina in order to discourage us from speaking publicly and attending events. I am also aware of other instances where Lauren has fallen out with former friends and subsequently made false accusations against the friend. And she signed this under penalty of perjury. Crazy. We've got one more to go through. And this is Janeese. But hold on one second. I'm going to get a drink again. I'll be right back. I do. Can you bring one? Okay, never mind. It's being brought to me. It's being hand delivered. Okay, so this is going to be Janeese's declaration. Thank you so much. I'm almost done. I only have one more to go. Here. Okay. Yes, G-Dog.
Throw the dog in the house.
Okay.
Get ready for the dog pound.
Background. I met Christina in April of 2024. I've known Lauren for many years, but we have never been friends. Since April of 24, I have attended various events that Christina and Lauren also attended, including court proceedings, press conferences, and other public gatherings. My friend Blank and another friend Blank also attended many of the same events. In or around March 2025, I learned that Lauren had made several defamatory statements about me. Okay, Matthias sends a cease and desist. I attended Lori Daybell's trial in Arizona in April of 2025. On or about April 9th, I learned of a conversation between Blank and Matthias. Blank appeared upset, but Matthias did not appear anxious or fearful. On April the 11th, now remember, this is all the same dates, the 9th, the 11th. I learned that Matthias sent a cease and desist, which made various accusations against blank and demanded that she cease speaking publicly about Matthias. On April 15th, 2025, I tried to talk to Lauren about the statements. Fearing that Matthias would misrepresent the conversation, I attempted to record it. Lauren approached me while recording me and asked if I was recording her. She later submitted the video to the Boise Police Department. So that's where we saw the interaction where she walked up and said, "Are you recording me? Are you recording me? Are you recording me?" She was, because she was going to have a conversation with her. So she turned on her recording. So she's admitting it. "Are you recording me? Are you recording me? Are you recording me?" All while she's recording her. It's ridiculous. I don't know if she thought this would come out or not, to be honest with you. Lauren became emotional and ran into the courthouse, claiming that I was threatening and bullying her. She then reemerged and continued filming me, repeating that I was threatening and bullying her. I was not threatening or bullying her. Following this encounter, one or more bailiffs approached me about the incident. They told me Matthias claimed she felt threatened and asked if I felt threatened by Matthias. The bailiffs did not remove me from the courthouse or otherwise restrict me. They merely encouraged me not to talk to Lauren. Immediately thereafter, Grayson followed me in the bathroom and approached me various other times. God, this Grayson. God, this is weird. This is consistent with, and that's the only time that Grayson leaves her side. Because even Lauren said, "Oh, I need to talk to you because Grayson never leaves my side." But here's Grayson going around these people. It's creepy. That's so creepy. This is consistent with many instances where Grayson or Lauren have made allegations against me, blank, and others, only to enter our personal space and attempt to provoke a confrontation. This conduct and pattern persisted throughout April and June, anytime we saw them. For example, at the Daybell trial on June 10th, I was sitting in the courtroom awaiting witness testimony. During a break, Lauren and Grayson moved up 2 rows to sit directly behind me in the courtroom. Blank was not present for any of these events. That must be Christina. Christina was not present for any of those events. Lauren attempts multiple times to spark a conversation with me in Boise. I attended portions of the BK sentencing in Boise the week of July 21st. Lauren continued her unusual and concerning conduct in 2 main episodes that occurred on July 23rd. On July 23rd, I attended a press conference along with blank and blank. Blank and blank saved me a seat, and when I returned from the restroom, I learned that Grayson and Lauren, yet again, attempted to speak to blank despite the cease and desist. By the time I arrived, Grayson and Lauren had crossed the other side of the venue and were seated. Then, for no apparent reason, Lauren sent Grayson back across to our side of the venue. God, again? Grayson came and stood in front of me and next to my friends who were seated on that row. I took a video of Grayson standing next to us, but I did not put a camera in her face as she claims. A picture showing my position and related to Grayson is expected to be submitted for Christina's defense as Exhibit D11. Later that night, I went with blank, blank, and others to blank's favorite restaurant in Boise. We dined for about 2 hours before leaving to go get dessert. After I exited the restaurant, I learned that Grayson and Lauren had arrived and positioned themselves in the outside dining area near the exit. Given Lauren and Grayson's position, there was no way to exit the restaurant without passing right by Grayson and Lauren. Okay. Where was I? Blank again briefly spoke to Lauren and expressed her view that it was inappropriate for her to continue to try to contact or provoke an encounter with blank given the C and D. We then crossed and got dessert. At no point did we further engage. Nonetheless, Lauren called the police and accused us of stalking her. I spoke to an officer, explained the situation, and the investigation is now closed. I have received a copy of the Boise Police Department report. I have provided the report for Exhibit D12. I also received a number of videos that Lauren submitted as evidence of her claims. These included some of Blank's public posts, even though Blank was not present in Boise, as well as videos of the courthouse incident described above and the incident in Boise. How did she manage to get a temporary RO based on a police report where Christina wasn't even fucking there? I mean, this is ludicrous. In the report, the officer stated that Lauren provided me with videos of 2 different incidents at the Bitter Creek Ale House. I did not see any intimidating or threatening behavior in the video. That's a quote from the cop. How can you get away with lying to a judge? It's crazy. Christina was not with us during either of these incidents in Boise and was in fact out of the country. Christina did not suggest, ask, or prompt us to interact with them. Rather, it was Lauren and Grayson that initiated. I attended CrimeCon, which was September 5th through 7th. Grayson and Lauren attended CrimeCon and continued their pattern of trying to provoke a confrontation with me, Christina, and others. I was surprised later when Christina received a temporary restraining order. I am not aware of any attempt that Christina made to contact or otherwise engage with Lauren or Grayson at CrimeCon. Even when Christina was speaking to the police about the order on September 6th, I watched Lauren and Grayson walk right past where Christina was talking to the police. Lauren claimed in the request for the TRO that she believed she was in immediate danger, and Christina and her accomplices were planning another confrontation at CrimeCon. But I have a video from September 6th showing Matthias in a restaurant chatting with someone with Christina and others nearby. A copy of the video will be provided for the defense in Exhibit D13. At no point did I observe Grayson or Lauren experiencing any anxiety or fear. I dispute the allegations regarding Christina's online posts and their impact on Matthias, her husband, and Grayson. And then this is basically the same as the other girls. Yeah, it is. And that's signed under penalty of perjury. We got through them all. And you know what we figured out? Lauren Matthias is a bully. She's a bully, y'all. She lied to it. I mean, lying in court, that's a huge thing. It's utterly despicable. And Grayson, it's crazy. So what do you guys think will happen from here? Thank you guys for sticking around. I appreciate it. It's nuts. It's sad. She wanted this girl to go to jail and everything else. Everything in here is just blowing my mind. My mind is whirling right now. You think she'll file a suit? Is she? Thank you for gifting 10 more cooterships. Let's welcome in those 10. We got Robin C. Robin 407. Mama Bear, My Little Family, Julie B. Natalie K. Spitfire Chef. Sunny D. Angie M. 911, give it to God.
She's is welcome
Close
to
your leg.
Cooterville. Everybody close your leg. Everybody
Mm.
coming in, close your legs.
Close your leg.
Glass evidence, I agree. Well, it sounds like Christina has a really good attorney, too. Like, I loved his responses. They all had examples, something that neither Grayson or Lauren brought to the table were any examples, only a bunch of accusations. With everything
help
they
a
said,
brother
they
out.
were like, for example, there was at least one example. So after the hearing that we played today, that was when they scheduled the October 16th hearing where Lauren went and said law and crime was the reason she didn't go through with it. I think we know the reason she didn't go through with it. And I think we know the reason that law and crime was interested. So if you're listening, Christina, I'm going to throw I don't know if you're listening or even know about this live, but I'm going to throw my email up. If you need any help with anything, feel free to reach out. I know there's people here that would like to help you. This is an absolute atrocity, and we can't set this as a precedence. This is not right. Mama J, thank you for your super chat. Has it been stated why they're no longer friends? What happened? No, I don't think it really has. I really don't think it has, unless I missed it, but I don't think so. I think this is the most we've gotten. I mean, this is an atrocity. This is, you guys know what it is. So that's where I'll leave things for today. Thank you guys again for joining in. Thank you for being concerned with the truth. Thank you for being truth seekers and not just following the masses or following someone because of the numbers they have on their YouTube channel. Buy a new phone charger. What do you mean? Thanks, Mama J. I appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who bought memberships today. You could have, you chose to become a member. Thank you to those who gifted, and welcome to those who got gifted. So I guess we wait and see what happens next. We've still got a lot that we can go over and review, but I need to get my head together after this live. And thank you so much. Thank you guys for thinking for yourselves, and thank you again for your support. So let's get in the Cooter DeVille. We are out of here. Oh, and just FYI, I'm going to upload the audio to J is for Justice. If you're not subscribed to my true crime channel, I'm going to throw it up in the chat right now. And just FYI, I don't have a producer or any of that fancy stuff. It's just me behind a couple screens and a mic. So I really do appreciate your support. It is genuinely appreciated. So I'm here. I'm invested with you guys. And I'm going to premiere. Let's see, what time is it? Hold on. Let me get this set up before we go. How about we drop it at 11:15? We'll do a premiere with chat over on J is for Justice. That is public as of right now. But if you stick around with me, I will ship you right on over there so you don't have to do anything. You can hit the reminder and then we can chat, because I would like to hear it. It's a lot different when you're streaming and you've got a lot of things going on. So I would like to hear it myself another time and be able to listen. Jay, you covered this whole ordeal flawlessly. I looked forward to your live every single day. Miss Buchanan, that means so much to me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Southern Mimi. LW, I really appreciate your support as well. So let me get this set up. I don't know if our credits are going to work. Let's go over and see. Let's see if they're going to work for us. I never get to hear things like I want to, when I'm streaming. I always have to replay stuff and go back over it. So it didn't turn on. Why do they not turn on every time? This is kind of pissing me off, because they're supposed to. I know. Why isn't it working? Oh, well. It is what it is. Thank you so much again. I'm going to go ahead and end this out. You guys are going to be dropped over into J is for Justice, and I will see you in that premiere. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, and make sure you hit the like button. We got 1,051 likes. Thank you so much. Woohoo!
This is fucking crazy, yo.
Bye, guys.